Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of The 12th, our epic campaign of discovery and adventure across the continent of Corvair. This story will stream live Sundays at 6 p.m. Central here on Javelin Entertainment, and if you missed the last session, check it out on the channel page or by clicking the link down in the description.
Last week, we found our daring heroes navigating the treacherous streets of Port Krez. Roland heard a loud yell and found a man tossed off a cliff, and before he could follow him anywhere important, the old sap ended up dead. Roland examined the body, casting a spell to stabilize the dying man, though not without a touch of opportunism, rifling through his pockets for some not-so-valuables. Meanwhile, Boko, assisted by Theschault, Jasira, and Murgol, was embarking upon a magical surgical endeavor, blazing the souls of some eels into a brand new leg for Tove. But it came with some potential side effects, which he had to brood over. Theschault was left engrossed over the prospect of necromancy and fighting his reservations of the craft, while Jasira had a quiet moment with Tove seeking forgiveness. On the other side of town, Rolan and Clyde, in search of information, stumbled into a seedy tavern and found a woman stoically throwing knives at a target. So, like the intelligent pair that they are, they challenged her to a knife-throwing competition. They traded some information, a few injuries, and a lot of drinks. Clyde was left snoring, and Roland tried to bring them both home when they were confronted by Yves Lexith and the Larocque brothers. Outnumbered and inebriated, they were forced to watch as they were relieved of the pin-up scroll, and the group strangely faded back into the shadows. In the early light of morning, Boko embarked on a risky ritual, opening himself up to a swath of spirits that, instead of engaging him, burned with violet flames, dimming the darkness to reveal orbs of purple light. Fighting against the darkness, Boko burst forth to see a building ablaze and rushed to check on Tove. Theschault went on firefighting duty, and now amidst this chaos our group prepares for whatever lies ahead in the draw. What awaits within Reaver's Ridge? What was the cause of the fiery blaze? What have Cade and Sindri been up to? Let's tune in and find out.
Alrighty, so as we rewind here for but a moment to the night before, as Theschault, Boko, Jasira, and Murgol were tending to Tove, and Clyde and Roland had headed off to the tavern. Sindri, what were you doing during that afternoon and evening?
Can I get reminded a little more clear on what we were doing?
So you guys essentially had you had just returned from your excursion to Sarania, and had about a day and a half to clear up any business before you all were headed out to what is known as the draw. And so Cade had kind of gone off to do some business with her crew and with Iz, and you had worked on making the materials for Tove's prosthetic before kind of transitioning and handing it over to Boko and Jasira for the actual surgery process of attaching it.
And then, so how much time do I have after finishing that then?
You have probably about a day total. It's right about to begin evening, right in that late afternoon time for you, and that early afternoon the next day is when you all are headed out.
All right. Can I spend that day putting like my big tower shield, putting some like big spikes on the bottom of it that you could like slam into the ground as like a modification?
You can certainly try. The materials would be easy enough. Just a couple silver to gather that bits of metal and kind of forge it with any customizations that you would like. Are you able to roll from where you're at?
Not currently. Colleen is, I believe.
All right.
What do you want me to roll?
Go ahead. It'd be a Tinker's Tools, correct? And do you have that already?
No, I was going to do blacksmithing.
Oh, yeah. Then you can do Smith's Tools as well.
Yeah, like, this seems a little more heavy duty than tinkering.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Do you know what your mod is to blacksmithing?
It should just be on the left of tools.
I don't have access to your character sheet.
Oh,
well, let me fix that.
Okay. Then
Sorry.
it would be Plus 7.
Okay. I mean, if Austin can give me access, but I can roll in the meantime.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
1d20 plus 7. 25.
Yes. Good roll, me.
All right, you should have access now for the future. But yeah, Sindri, as you kind of sit down for this afternoon focused on this, already getting kind of some experience with the tools that are at hand, it's not too difficult at all to take this large shield that you had acquired and attach some spikes to help it be better at sticking into the ground and kind of being able to be leveraged as cover.
Not my whole day, I'm assuming.
That's probably at least a few hours. And
Oh, okay.
did you have anything else that you were wanting to attempt throughout that time?
Probably not. I can't think of anything off my head. Off the top of my head.
Well,
I've come unprepared. So.
No, it's all good. And then Cade, I believe you were going to meet up with Iz, correct?
Yeah, I had two things that I was supposed to accomplish, if I remember. I was supposed to meet up with the crew at some point, just like stop by the ship, and then meet up with Iz later in the night for drinks.
Correct. Yeah, so it's right about the evening. And so if you wanted to handle Iz and then go meet the crew to kind of get your rest and discuss anything that was required before the draw in the morning.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, so you make your way back up kind of to the core of Port Krez, up to the barmaid's chest. And within that tavern, you do see kind of seated on one of the balconies, similarly actually to the way that Tiago had been, is perched up there with like a clear view of the tavern, and doesn't seem to make much of a scene when you come in, but understands that you noticed where he was.
Okay. I will get 2 drinks at the bar and then make my way back up.
All right. As you kind of make your way up there towards where Israel is sitting, he looks up. Well, if that ain't the best picture I've seen. Just a woman holding a couple of drinks headed straight for me. What more could you ask for?
I don't know. Depends on your mood, I suppose. Sometimes less clothing's preferred.
I knew there was a reason I liked you, Kate.
Yeah. And Cade will kind of plop the drink in front of him.
He kind of holds it up, tips it, and takes a swig backwards. So, what exactly did you want to talk about?
Well, I distinctly remember being in a prison and you telling me that you would explain later over drinks. And I'll have to admit, I'm still rather curious about what all went on, so I figured I'd provide the drinks.
That's a good start. Always good to come with a token offering as it is. I suppose I do owe you some sort of explanation. Let's start out with what you know, or what you all have figured out.
Well, let's see. Obviously, 2 motives for breaking into the prison. Well, at least 2. There was our objective to jailbreak the one fellow, what are they, Dark Elf, Shadow Kai? The people like Jasira. Break him free, obviously with a side deal to ransom the people in the bottom of the ship like them. And then you appear to have gone to a different part of the prison to jailbreak another individual. And you needed someone that could sneak on through in very small form in order to turn off the security system.
That's pretty much the gist of it. So where did you need me to elaborate?
I'll admit, I'm just curious about the whole thing. Do people just come to you and ask you to break people out of prison? Is that kind of your shtick, besides just raiding?
You're talking about the Pride, yeah?
Yeah, in general. You guys are rather new to the scene.
Yeah, I haven't been traveling with the Pride for too long now, but as I understand it, Moranin gets quite a bit of a backlog of people wanting their friends, family, scorned lovers out of the prison so that they can either rescue them or exact vengeance, send them on to the next world and all that. But
people actually pay you to break people out so that they can kill them.
We've gotten quite a few strange requests. As quartermaster, I get to see some of the more entertaining ones that we don't actually pursue. Oh no, it's at least when I was. Anyway, it's a tricky business, prison breaking and all. You see, if you do it too much, then they start to figure out your methods, your ideas, your behavior. Eventually you'll get caught. So most of the time we can't do much about the requests that we get. But sometimes things line up, and when you're there, you can make good use of it.
You mean like finding a bunch of random people on a deserted island that have particular skills that could allow you to use them as fresh faces for new jailbreaks?
More or less, yeah.
Actually, now that I mention it, or that it comes up, how does actually, was the Pride just sailing by when they saw the smoke? How did you know we were there?
Well, the Pride, we had our section for this season was rather far north. We had been doing quite a bit of travel back and forth due to the fact that it wasn't exactly the most generous section of the territory.
Yeah, that's always a rough patch to sail or be assigned to.
So we were, looking for other opportunities, making a few stops along the way, doing some other side work that wasn't quite as traditional shenanigans.
And then you just happened to see a bunch of smoke and then a bunch of people on a deserted island, so why not?
We're opportunists, Again, like we said, we were exploring other opportunities, so when we saw an opportunity arise and there weren't any other flags in the nearby vicinity, we took advantage.
Fair enough. Done that once or twice. I think I've asked you this before, but now that we know each other a bit better, I'm going to ask again, because this still really bothers me. Have you ever seen a small bird with antlers before?
I can't say that that's ringing any bells. You mean like just a normal bird, but with like deer antlers on it?
I guess DM remind me that was pretty much what it looked like, right?
Pretty much, yeah, more or less. Not quite as elaborate as deer antlers, more like a simple antelope, I guess, but it was antlers on a bird.
Okay. Yeah, very, very simple antlers. I don't know. It was a very strange creature, and it was observing us when we were on the island. And I saw it again later, and it looked intelligent, as if someone was peering through its eyes. So I didn't know if it belonged to the Pride or someone else.
It's not one of ours. It's not that I know of. How do you know? You said it looked intelligent. How do you tell intelligence in a bird?
I don't know how familiar you are with different kinds of magic, but it looked like someone's familiar that, I don't know, like someone might have been looking through its eyes.
It's interesting the types of things that you are drawn towards. After apparently being cleaved across the sea by a giant ship with tentacles through the air, and then being stranded on an island where there were all sorts of crazy things. It's this bird that catches your attention, yeah? Because it was watching.
I mean, when you put it that way, it does seem a little strange, I suppose. But it's the one... I don't know. It's something small, and it's the small things that stand out. I mean, yes, is it strange that a giant tentacle flying thing flies out of the sea and crashes a boat that I have never ever been crashed and landed on an island before? Absolutely weird. The fact that there's a diabolical, strange entity that's experimenting on the animals and people that crash on the island, also very strange. But a harmless bird with antlers that watches you, but it wasn't just on the island, it was also somewhere else. I saw it off the island too. So seeing it in multiple places does make it a little bit more of a reoccurring thing than just, that one random, I pray, the one random occurrence of a giant flying tentacle ship. But I say that, I'm pretty sure Sindri is bad luck on the sea. Like, honestly, I have never had so many occurrences of, awful things happen on a ship in such a small amount of time, except for when I met him. I think he's a very bad totem for the ocean.
Yeah, normally those who aren't natural to those, the sea, they usually are not the best to bring along on trips like this, at least.
Yes, well, I've promised to get him to land. And seeing as that is where I'm headed also, I intend to see him there. I hope that nothing else strange happens, but I don't seem to be that lucky recently, so I'm totally expecting something to go terribly wrong before we hit the continent.
Yeah, you never want to hold your breath in the principalities. But you're more perceptive than I think I gave you credit for the first time. I think you might be onto something with this bird. Sometimes it's those little things that you said that are the most important. Actually, in that regard, how would you like to join me for another dance for a moment?
I suppose I could go for a little fun. Things have been a little too stressed out lately. And then, of course, when I came to do a drink beforehand, before I even got a decent amount of liquor in my system, Clyde just had to start a fight. And don't get me wrong, I'm all for a good bar fight, but usually you need 3 drinks first, and then that's when it's fun.
You seem right up my speed. We'll get something stronger and see if we can get some lively music, and I might have a few insights for you. Away from prying ears, and he kind of looks around at the kind of quiet area where you guys are sitting.
Fair enough. Sounds like it could be relaxing. And then Cade's actually gonna do a quick sweep to make sure that there's no Clyde to start a bar fight. Sindri's not in the corner pestering someone.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check.
It's actually just gonna be a chill night.
Oh goodness.
You really want to know?
So, scanning around the captain's daughter here, you see the traditional things. There's old Abner, the half-orc who's behind the bar. There's the multitude of scantily clad barmaids who are raking in the tips in all manner of ways. And there's the usual suspects, various crews. Notably absent is pretty much the entire crew of the Crimson Haze. None of them are there from the Larocque brothers, who frequent this location, all the way down to some of the less notable individuals. And kind of gazing, you do see that most of the other crews are present. It seems by this time all the ships have made their way in one form or another. All of them kind of finally preparing to make that last journey to the draw. And as you're scanning along, most things seem fairly in order. However, you do catch, at least for a moment, this woman. She's not so much notable in what she is doing, but in how somehow she stands apart from the others around her. She is meant to be kind of cloaked and hidden. There's a man kind of bald with a thick mustache kind of guiding her along the edges of this tavern. And yet the strands of bright red hair from underneath the cloak, the beautiful features of the face stand out and catch your attention. This is someone who's purposely being tried to be hidden, and yet any glance or glimpse of them somehow innately brings attention. But this man is kind of just guiding her, and you can see that is actually leading her with some sort of thing tied around her wrists. Some sort of, you're not sure if it's a rope or cuffs, but something that's actually pulling her along. And slavery or servitude in Port Krez is not totally uncommon, but it gives kind of an uneasy feeling in your stomach for just a moment before the two of them kind of head out the door of the tavern. And you see that off to the side, from the door that they had left, the kind of curtains are open from that back one, and you see just a hair, just a glimpse of an individual. And there's not too much that most people would pick up on, but having been in Port Krez for some time, you see this thick, white, bare fur pelt across the shoulders of this individual. And this long blue cape that kind of extends from it. You don't ever see the face, but it is enough for you with your experience to know that this is Yves Lexith, one of the higher ranking of the Crimson Haze.
Okay, can I get that name in the chat?
Yeah, and it should be in your nested in your journal as well. So you guys, as you've met these,
Clyde's diss track.
yeah, certainly would have been a name that had popped up. But yeah, as you guys have met some of these,
also the one that took the body pillow back from us.
So this is
night.
Technically before this.
Oh right.
Yeah. Just rewinding a little
kill
bit.
her now, and then we can we can keep the pinup poster.
But yeah, you notice this before the curtains are closed again. Just this small interaction, it just kind of gives you a slight unease. But in that moment, before really anything can happen, Israel has kind of grabbed you and begins to lead you down towards the main floor.
Yeah, Cade just kind of frowns a little bit. The Crimson Haze is just more and more distasteful the more that I see them.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Let's grab a drink of some hotter stuff and chat for a bit. And quickly is just kind of walks by and drops a few gold onto a platter of one of the barmaids. And as he's moving through the crowd, the next barmaid actually passes him the glasses. And you're not sure how this has happened so quickly. Like you know the people here, you know how to get what you want, and somehow what just happened is on another level. But he passes over this kind of glass, and it's this only about a couple fingers worth of this dark brown liquid, but he tosses it back, places the empty glass down on another table, and kind of reaches out a hand as the music begins to pick up around you.
Yeah, I mean, Cade will down it back too.
And if you would like to go ahead and give me a performance check.
Oh, God, no. Not really. Back to my core thing. It's just a flat D20. Let's see what we got. Oh!
Jesus.
I am gliding across the dance floor.
Again, you have never not danced perfectly with Iz.
And Iz rolled a 26. So with a natural 20 and a 26, these two just begin doing spins and dips and turns. And even though they're kind of becoming the center of attention here with this dance, again, as it is evening, the dancers are out. The vibe is much higher, and there are people gathered around watching both the dance that's happening behind, and now these two individuals which have captured the floor as well. But they're also spread out, giving space. And in this moment, is kind of in a soft voice speaks to you. We've had our eye on the Crimson Haves for some time. They're involved with something. Almost certainly. And our little endeavor in Dreadhold, your endeavor, let's just say that you are in this situation where the large tentacle ship, the island full of miscellaneous things, the loud, attention-drawing individuals, so that what you assisted me with could occur. You all were a happy accident. What we were there for was something to do with whatever else is going on here.
It certainly seems like a lot of gears are turning behind the scenes. My captain has been rather taciturn about what's going on, but I can clearly see parts are moving in atypical ways.
I think everyone's a bit on edge. Some people are working with us, some people are almost certainly working against us. But at the end of the day, something's coming to a head at the draw. I think that the Crimson Haze have something planned, but what it is we haven't been able to determine. Hopefully, what we're planning, whatever they've got going on, shouldn't much matter.
I will make sure to keep an eye out then. So you'll be at the draw?
Almost everyone is going to this one. With the sea dragons, a situation, probably half the crews have half their people on the ships headed towards Reaver's Ridge. It's quite unprecedented, actually.
Yeah, there's a bit of an undercurrent to everything. The captain's eager to see me off the sea rather quickly.
Well, I can't say I blame her. Whatever these sea dragons are, they're dangerous. You've been on Port Krez for a while. You familiar with all the crews?
Most certainly.
What about the phantom?
At least all the ones that have been around for a while.
What about the phantom beasts?
Hold on.
They got a ship known as the Ethereal Aurora. It's a bit unique, made of some purple-hued wood and such.
I don't know much about them besides that they're considered particularly brutal and are fond of magic.
Yeah, no one really likes them much, but have you seen their ship in port?
Have I seen their ship in port?
You have certainly not.
Okay. No, I haven't.
Yeah, neither have I. But the draw is happening tomorrow. And I never seen a pirate crew willingly miss the revelry that happens before the draw.
You think that they're either deliberately missing it or something happened to them?
Well, the beasts, they had the king's cut last.
Which means that they should be rolling in it, so to speak.
Indeed. Now, it's just rumors and such, but there's quite a bit of reasons why they might have gone missing, but whatever the reasons are, the beasts, they weren't an easy target. Certainly not the ones you would want to go after for an easy score. You'd have to be planned and powerful. And that makes me nervous.
Agreed, but you would think that someone would have heard something if their ship had gone down.
You would think, and perhaps they would. However, the only ones north of that area was the Pride and good old Barmore's bastards, the Crimson Haze.
Seems to all be coming full circle now, doesn't it?
And if you remember, we were a bit occupied. So I'm not exactly sure what is going on, but things keep pointing back to those bastards, and I'll be damned if I don't get some answers by the end of this. You see, at least in my circles, I tend to be the one watching. And so I know that the watchers are usually the ones you have to be very careful of. People like yourself, Cade.
Fair enough. If you watch closely enough, then you can see how the patterns come about. You can see which way the waves which way the water flows, so to speak.
I'll tell you one thing, it's certainly not something that lets you live an easy, relaxed life. Whatever's happening, it's happening tomorrow. I, for one, plan to drink and enjoy my time. Till then, I've poisoned your mind enough with rumours and whispers of what could be happening, but I am quite enjoying this dance. Anything else you're getting up to tonight?
Nothing in particular, but I could be convinced to do something stupid if enough alcohol is provided.
Well, I've got plenty enough gold for enough drinks for us, and there's certainly games and things aplenty to get into here. Got anything in mind?
Nothing in particular. Why don't we just let the alcohol flow and see where the night takes us?
I like the sound of that. And
Kate's kind of got like a big smile on her face because it's just been like kind of one thing after another since her ship was crashed out of fucking nowhere, and it's like, okay, I'm on familiar ground again. This will be nice and comfortable. I can just cut loose, and that should be fine.
Cade, go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
This is where it's going to be payback for having those nat 20s. I can feel it.
Please absorb the payback before I have to make a ranged attack.
Nope. We're still good.
Fucking heck.
The alcohol is strong, but this is your area of expertise, and you are home. And the night goes on, the revelry continues, and you eventually do find your way back to the Fox, well late into the night and well ready for some rest and relaxation. Kind of crashing on the ship in your own familiar bed for once, if that is where you head. That is an assumption, so please feel free to correct me if you'd rather be somewhere else. But eventually, in the morning, you hear these yells and calls and sounds of alarm.
Ah, fuck. Yeah, no, Cade's immediately, like, kind of rolls out of bed real quick, staff in hand, quickly grabs the shield, and is like, okay, what the fuck? And will stumble out onto deck.
Stumbling out onto the deck, you see as this smoke is billowing up into the sky, this dark gray and black, and already there is a group kind of headed in that direction, and you kind of following suit, make your way through this slightly painful headache, but it begins to clear quickly as the adrenaline kicks in, getting closer to a building that is ablaze, and you can see that thick black smoke is billowing out, turning gray as it rises, but the flames are actually dying down, and you see the bright armor of Theschault as his steam and water blasts are clearing out some of the fire, and you can see actually as Boko kind of rushes inside to the medical tent where you had left Murgol and Tove.
Yeah, I mean, Cade will automatically cast Create Water, and that, if it's not in a container, it comes down as rain. And so we'll continue the firefighting effort with Theschault.
All right, as the rain begins to come down, both the two of you as well as with numerous others on this port who are naturally inclined to the water, quickly put out this blaze, and others begin to kind of rescue and look for those who are wounded. You see Roland now there kind of using Spare the Dying on some people that are walking out, but your quick perception can see that he looks hazy at best. And Clyde is behind him, barely standing, just kind of leaning up against whatever he can. They look like they are wrecked and were woken up in an even worse state than you were.
Oh, okay. I will make my way over to them. Do they look like just like, I woke up to a fire, or like injured woke up to a fire?
Make me an insight check.
Oh, okay. That kind of okay, let's see.
Yeah, they are clearly giving indications of some heavy hangovers. You're not sure how much they drank or if they're just lightweights, but they're clearly feeling the effects more than you were.
They're not fighting the fire because they want to save people. They just want to stop the alarm.
Yeah, no.
The smoke is making my headache worse. Go away.
Yeah, Cade will make their way over, kind of while having the rain come down, and be like, what's going on? Is everyone okay? What happened?
And who's this addressed to again?
This is
Go ahead.
Boko and Clyde.
Okay.
Boko's in the medical tent. He's not here.
Yeah, so it's Roland and Clyde here.
Oh, Roland and Clyde. Okay, sorry. I thought it was Boko.
Okay.
So Boko was running away.
Okay. Roland. Then this will be directed at Roland.
Okay. I don't know. I woke up and looked into town, and there was fire coming from near the hospital where we left Tove. So I came running.
And yeah, Cade will kind of quickly look around to see if she sees Tove and her shipmate, if everyone's okay, if people got out, or if they're still in the wreckage.
It seems like so this fire is a building kind of up on the ledge. It's not quite the hospital, but it is nearby. So you see that the Tove is kind of inside the hospital still, and Boko, Jasira, and I believe so. Oh, Theschault was in there, but has come out. They're all within with Tove. And out here, Theschault is kind of still helping to rescue people as Roland and Clyde are out here talking with you.
Okay. I'll leave you guys alone for one night.
This isn't
so that
me.
I can relax. And this is what happens.
This occurrence is independent from you leaving us alone for one night to relax.
And am I to believe that nothing happened while you two were drunk out all night on an unfamiliar island?
We'll get to that later. Right now, fire.
Mm-hmm. One night.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah, no,
Clyde isn't happy about it, but
Cade's
nothing bad
just,
happened.
continuing the firefighting efforts, control water to, from the sea and dropping it where, any of the fire, pops up until pretty much I'm assuming that there's several of us water-based people that are just go away, fire.
Yeah, exactly. And it's quickly put out, but there still is kind of one edge of this building that is blackened and crisp by the time it's done and all the individuals are pulled safely out of it.
You'll also notice that, people are getting pulled out, and Roland will go up and pull people away from the fire once they are out, and then try and give some medical attention what little he can, but he is going nowhere near the building. Nowhere near.
In the meantime, Boko, you had been examining Tove, and Jasira kind of standing there. Is there anything that you guys are doing?
I think having told Jasira what his plans are and given her probably not any information at all, nothing useful, I don't think. And seeing that Tove's prosthetic is still in decent shape, Boko will leave and go see if the fire is under control.
All right. You come up and you see again, Theschault is kind of still inspecting things, being the very boisterous individual, getting over-involved himself. But you see Cade off to the side talking with Roland, and Clyde kind of sitting there moaning about how his head hurts.
Boko is going to cast Detect Magic and just sort of walk the perimeter of this place, kind of taking it all in and seeing if he can see anything that stands out.
Okay. Roll me a perception or investigation check here.
Let's do it. It's pretty good.
Okay, so with the assistance of the detect magic, you kind of scan around, focusing on the building, focusing on the areas with the fire, and you get these kind of latent pulses of energy, of some sort of resonance. It's not like there is active magic there, but you can feel the effects and essence of something akin to evocation that is latent within this area. There's no active magic here, but there was certainly the presence of something akin to magic previously.
Yeah. Seeing this, Boko will approach Roland, who is his atlas on arcane beings. And he will approach and he will just say, Something started this fire. You can see it if you look. I do not know how you say, but if you look at the magic, you can see something started this fire, but it was not from this plane. You see, the magic was cast either through the planes or over a great distance.
Through the plains? Like, someone teleported a firebomb here, or someone opened a breach into the fire plane in order to start the fire? That sounds like overkill.
Overkill is yes. I was going to ask what you thought of it. This is something that is possible.
Casting of fire through the plains.
Yes.
I mean, there's magic that would allow you to get from one plane to another, theoretically speaking. We passed through a gate. If you were able to make a gate into a plane with fire in it and let it through, theoretically possible, but a match would send this place up as well.
Boko's going to lower his voice so only him and Roland can hear. And he is going to say, the entity that cast this magic did so from the realm of the spirits. It did not do it from this realm. This was no match. You can detect the remnants of its magical energy if you look close enough.
From the realm of the spirits.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to just reflexively kind of insight check this and see. Thank you, Cade. Thank you, Cade. At least it wasn't a ranged attack.
Boko is standing on Roland's blind side with the bright sun behind him.
You're pulling my leg. The realm of the spirit. This sounds like fairy tales and superstitions from my childhood.
Boko looks at Roland and then down at the figure that he just cast Spare the Dying on. No, he is pulling your leg. I am standing here. I can guarantee I am telling the truth on this one. I just need to know what you can find out. And if you agree to take a look, I may be able to conjure something to help you feel better.
I feel fine. I'm not even going to try to lie. Does it require going in there?
No, you can see it from here.
Okay, I will take a look.
Thank you. And Boko will retreat and then go into his alchemist supplies and see if he can whip up a hangover cure or some sort of form of hydration for Roland and for Clyde.
Alright, Basco sauce, raw egg.
Yeah. Reach into the bag of holding, pull out some of that tentacle that fell from the sky, pull off a couple chunks.
Oh. Alright, so what am I taking a look at here?
I don't know if Roland is able to get a better idea of the magical remnants than I am, but I am arcane inept.
How are you attempting to investigate this?
I am waiting for Boko to take me somewhere and point at something for me to look at.
Boko would have shown him where the pulsing remnants are, but that and the story that Boko told would probably be all he knows about anything like that.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we're now like either an arcana or a history type of thing to just kind of noodle on it with like following the train of thought where Boko is leading him, and then once the fire is out, try and go find the epicenter of it and investigate up close.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me an arcana check. Goodness. Words are difficult, guys.
They're hard.
I will give myself guidance as I think.
Absolutely.
And then with Boko helping.
Sure. Yeah, he's got
Okay.
detect magic running. I'll let that fly.
Here come the next two nat ones.
Don't do it.
Oh, it almost was. Took care of it with the guidance, but damn.
If you fail this check, I specifically requested the opposite of this.
With guidance, I could theoretically get to a 30, but I rolled a 1.
So, as Boko does kind of point you in the direction, and Boko can see kind of the tendencies, the kind of echoes of what was here. And Roland, you begin to piece together this pattern, focusing more and more on not really what is there, but rather what was there that would have developed into this. And there's this strange familiarity to this. It's something that you haven't experienced directly, but certainly something where you had read about patterns like this, and it almost seems to behave like dragon fire, like this breath that was breathed up onto it, these flames that stretched up the side. And as far as you are aware, you have got a pretty good recollection of recent history, at least of major events, and dragon encounters are almost non-existent. And certainly a dragon in the middle of this port would have made a much larger impact than a simple small fire. And so this has got to be something that was either replicated via magic or by some creation, and whatever could replicate dragon fire is certainly concerning.
You'd say it was cast from the spirit world.
Boko's sort of leaning over his alembics and stirring up something that's inky black for Roland to drink. And without looking, Boko simply says, "Yes."
The way the fire progressed, the heat of it, the epicenter, it like dragon fire.
Boko narrows his eyes at Roland.
But small dragon fire. Not dragon landed here and breathed. There'd be all kinds of other stuff going on, but like something replicated it, or Or a rift in the plains only let a little bit through, or But that's dragon fire. I read about it. I was fascinated by dragons as a boy.
This is something we will have to look into. The thing that did this, I do not think it is a dragon, but I guess I do not really know what it is anyway. Are you sure?
Very. If anything, it's the fact that it shouldn't be that makes me more sure, because I tried to disprove it and I was unable to.
I will trust you. But it does sound a little outlandish, does it not?
Dragonfire is outlandish, but someone casting it from the spirit world, oh yes, that's every day happening.
But Boko's deadpan, clearly agreeing with you.
Okay. Trust me on the Dragonfire, I will trust you on... Woo!
And Boko will hand you a small glass of black liquid.
I had heard of restoration magic, and I thought that was what you were going to...
Boko leans in and goes, "You are supposed to drink it."
Really? Well, sipping it isn't a good idea. And he'll just open the throat and let it fall.
As you go like this, it has this consistency of like a peanut butter milkshake. It's strange. You almost have to chew it. It's kind of lukewarm, but it's not unpleasant. It's like earthy, truffly sort of tones.
Oh, so it was a protein shake with way too much protein.
Right. It was like it's like you're hungover and then you took a nice walk through the forest and it's nice and damp and foggy, and then somebody hits you in the face with a branch.
That sounds like the worst possible case for Roland. First he's hungover, then he's out in nature?
Oh no.
DM, does he feel any better?
Is this a certain effect, or is this...
No, it's not. This is just an old wives' tale kind of drink.
Let's see.
Nope.
There's not really any immediate impact, but maybe it takes a little while for it to set in. There may be a bit of placebo that comes into play.
You know, not as bad as I expected. I feel like it's still stuck to my teeth. Is it?
Boko just reaches for the glass and goes, "Not as bad as when it comes out," and puts the glass away. And walks away. Boko will hand the other one to Clyde.
Yeah, Clyde doesn't even say anything. He just downs it. He's used to all manner of hangover cures, and in this moment, whatever helps.
Boko will hand the other one to Clyde. Yeah, Clyde doesn't even say anything. He just downs it. He's used to all manner of hangover cures, and in this moment, whatever helps.
Okay.
Boko watches Clyde down it and looks at Roland like, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Just
What I did.
Clyde tackles it with a fork.
yes. Oh goodness. All right. And so you all are gathered back together here in the early morning hours. Is there anything else that anyone is interested in doing here with the last few hours?
Cade would, after making sure everyone's fine, putting the fire out, making sure no one's like too shit-faced, we'll just remind everyone to get back to the ship by this afternoon, and then would actually go back to like hang out and talk with the crew like it was requested, and she just wants to see everybody.
Which ship are you directing them to?
That's what I was going to ask.
Would direct them to go back to the Azure Fox, not the Pride.
All right, and I'll say one other thing that I wanted to touch on in the morning is Krita, who had woken up early as usual and kind of begun her rounds whenever this smoke had started to billow and this fire began. In the early morning, you had found your way back to the area where a certain individual likes to frequent. His main domain, as well as a couple nearby taverns, and certainly enough, whenever the blaze begins, the smoke starts to billow. It draws people out, and you see numerous people kind of coming out into the street and checking it out, some walking down, and you do see Faltus as well kind of step out of his door and begin to look around as you're kind of gazing from the shadows on the other side.
Sam, I swear if you started that fire just to...
Well, no sense in wasting an opportunity. Is he venturing out, or is he gonna just poking his head out?
Right now, he's
go
kind of
in?
stepped out onto the street and is kind of like looking up at the smoke and seems to be kind of debating whether or not he wants to get closer and how fast. But like many of the others, are being kind of drawn in that direction. And most of the other people, especially children and young people, have already run and sprinted off. And then a few of the olders are kind of casually walking down. He's an older man, and so he's much more reluctant to actually get moving, but is clearly taking an interest in whatever this is.
Don't know too much about this layout, so I'm just gonna hope for the best. Is he still close enough to his door that it'd be feasible to either slip in and pull him back inside, or push him back inside?
You could certainly try.
I don't love that.
He's currently about like 5 feet from his door. He's not very far away. But he is trending in that direction where the longer you wait, the further away he's going to get.
Yeah, and I'm assuming this is like a very open public square
so
in the daytime.
This is a more, not necessarily wealthier area, but kind of an area that is a part. It's kind of a quieter neighborhood where the houses are kind of spaced out slightly more, or less stacked on top of each other, rather, towards the edge of what actually makes up Port Krez. Not too far away from where Roland was the day before, actually. And so many of the people have kind of left already. There's a couple of stragglers who are kind of nearby, but again, all eyes are on whatever is happening with the smoke, at least in this moment.
I have hours to spare, right?
Yeah, you've got multiple hours here.
While everybody's eyes are in one direction, then I will just slip inside and await his return.
All right, and you're slipping into the house?
Yes.
All right, give me a stealth check. Goodness, you guys really are all doing it if it comes up later. And just a reminder, because I don't know if I posted, I don't think I did post about it, but based off of the crazy good RP last session, everyone, including our guest star Sam and Sindri and Cade, who weren't here last week, do have inspiration for the session. So if those rolls come to bite you,
that, Sam.
well, not on that one. But
I'll save it.
if those rolls come back to bite you, there is that to keep in mind. But yeah, just like a shadow, you step through the door, and you actually, thinking on your feet, kind of knock something in and kind of create a small noise and watch from the edge of his own window as Faltus kind of turns around and begins to kind of step a few paces forward towards the door.
Perfect. Optimally, he enters on his own, but if he looks like he's gonna start to turn, I suppose if he's close enough.
Yeah, I mean, like he steps into the doorway and is kind of like looking around, trying to find where the sound came from. He was close enough to hear that, and you've kind of hidden yourself in well where he doesn't gaze you, but he's kind of looking in, trying to make sure there's nothing that entered his wide open door that he realizes he left.
Perfect. That is good enough for me. I don't think I have anything useful pre-attack, so there's nobody else in the room, right?
Yeah, no, he lives in the house by himself.
Sorry.
There's no one else here.
That's what you get.
I'm
for
sorry,
living
my
alone.
dude. Yeah.
Go ahead and make me an attack. And this is at advantage.
Right.
He certainly doesn't know what's happening.
Oh, this poor guy. So I got the 1 and an extra attack, and then a bonus action, unarmed attack.
Okay, roll me damage on those.
Oh.
Wait, you're not rolling a die.
Oh, man.
It's just your dex bonus.
I was gonna make a consistency joke.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good old
you're
roll
right.
20.
that gets me every time.
It's weird because it has like a default 1 in there, but it's like grayed out, and so it looks
Yeah.
like there's a die in there when there's not.
Yeah, was doing that too quickly. It's gonna let me just click on it again.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay, that's
A
much
minor
better.
improvement.
Yeah, no problem at all for you. As this is just a normal civilian, no armor, no defenses in this moment, just 2 quick daggers to the back, and just with a chop to the throat is just enough to drop him down onto the ground. And you can still hear the wheezing of breathing, but he is quickly bleeding out, just already down.
I will not let him die longly.
Eloquently put.
Sorry, I was reading through the knife names real quick to see who I should commemorate this one to.
Did you have one that you wanted to select?
Yeah. That'll be Kol Karan.
All right, just with a quick swipe of the wrist, you end his suffering, and he lays alone on this floor. And there are many of exits, windows, and doors aplenty, and you find one and sneak out back onto the streets. Would the curiosity of the fire draw her, or is she headed back to report immediately?
She will probably head back. I'm assuming she negotiated a good price for the going rate of second off assassinations when your first person doesn't quite finish what they were tasked to do. So most of that will go towards her debt, but she'll take a small amount in pocket if she managed to negotiate that, and then tap and name all her knives as she goes, and work out what her penance is going to be for taking this life.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check as you're kind of headed back towards the bay. Okay. So you navigate the streets again, kind of sticking to the back alleys, and make your way back down to the storm fortress, reporting in, getting a bit of payment from Karis, who is on board, and before you make your way back out, running through your rituals. And what is Krita doing with the rest of her day before the draw?
If all that went smoothly and there's if that didn't take too much time,
it's maybe it's early morning still. It's maybe 8:30 at the most.
Then yeah, she would make her way back to see what the fire was about and make sure there weren't, make sure it's under control. There's not a bunch of casualties. See what happened.
Want any casualties?
Are you doing this from?
We don't want casualties.
Are you doing this from a distance, or are you going up to investigate up close?
I mean, if there's a lot of people around, I'll go up as close as as there are still reasonably people.
Okay. Then it's your choice on whether you want to roll perception or investigation. Investigation is kind of getting up close, getting a better idea on specifics, whereas perception will give you an overview of kind of that whole area.
Can I do perception, but with more of an eye of looking at the people around here and see if anybody stands out as suspicious, if they're watching super intently or look shady?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Sure. So Krita, you kind of come up from the side, and you scan the faces. You actually pick up a few that you recognize from the night before, as Clyde and Roland are kind of off to the side, sporting their hangovers and currently imbibing some sort of strange black goo. But they're with a handful of others. And one that you do kind of recognize, that you've seen around. You don't know who she is, but she looks like a water genasi, and you've seen her around with the crew of the Storm Fae previously. Just kind of noting their connection, that they have some sort of involvement with the crews here. But as you scan the crowd, kind of going back around, trying to see if there's anyone who is linked to this, you don't see anyone directly, but actually past the crowd. Down in the streets, almost to where the ships are, you see an individual kind of pulling along on a lead this woman, and they are headed towards towards the docks of the bay, and you can see this balding mustache man, and with that perception, you do actually pick up enough that it seems to have the same facial features as Caldus Banham. But they seem to be making their way out of the bay with some haste.
They're going away from the ships?
They're going towards the ships
Towards the ships, okay.
Potentially leave.
Oh, I see. I too would make my way back to the ship area anyway, to head to the draw with the rest of the crew. So I will keep them in eyesight until I have to split off and just sort of see what I can gather, and then I'd mention that to whoever happens to be on board of the Kuja crew when I get back, and see if anybody else has noticed their presence or knows anything more about them.
Sorry, if anyone knows any more about who?
The woman.
Okay.
That they're bringing around, or what they're up to.
All right. So you begin making your way down towards the docks as well. And so at this point, hangover cures imbibed, the fire put out. What are the rest of you doing with your time?
Cade will just kind of go to Roland and Clyde and just be like, well, the draws this afternoon. I don't know what the hell all of this was, but not particularly interested in it this morning. If you all want to come to the draw, then be at the flock before we depart. Does that sound okay?
You say you're not interested in it, but there was something fishy about this.
Of course there was. What was fishy? Why is everything going wrong?
And Roland will kind of glance over at, is Boko still around?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. He'll kind of glance over at Boko to kick it off.
Boko is packing up his alembic and putting away all of his ingredients.
Roland will kind of like look over at Boko to kick it off, look down at the pot that he mixed the thing in, and kind of keep in a burp.
Yeah,
then,
Boko like unwraps the bandage around his arm and uses it to polish the inside of the pot.
Aww.
Regrets. So many regrets coming out.
What doesn't kill you?
No, if I have learned anything about home remedies, you never ask what's in it.
Yep.
I didn't.
Don't look at it either. No, don't look at it.
Boko already gave you one, Clyde, and you took it like a champion.
As he does.
Okay. So
I'm
Boko
only
noticed
now
something.
aware of what's going on. Built and burnt-ish. Was that us?
no,
Oh.
Boko found the
Wasn't
source.
that wild the night? Okay. Oh, okay. So we're already on it.
Boko found the source and says that it was someone.
Boko's gonna hold his hand out to Roland, and he's gonna say, "No, it was, like you said, something that some rabble-rousers must have gotten involved in."
Really? Just burn down random building?
I do not know. This is my
Alright.
first time here.
Yes.
Well, as I've been
some
told. Second.
Rabble rousers, but I am concerned at the power of the device that they used. It imitated
We
dragon.
should go investigate.
What?
We should investigate.
We did.
Yes. Did,
Okay.
did we get
It
to
was
that?
dragon fire.
Dragon.
If there'd been dragon around here, I'm sure we'd have heard of it.
Exactly. So unless someone is carrying around a pocket dragon that they pull out and squeeze really hard.
Is that a thing? Can we get pocket dragons?
No.
Luckily, Iz
are
isn't
we-
here to hear that.
Are we sure it was Dragonfire? Not... I don't know. Normal fire? A fire Gnazi setting something on fire? Why do you think it's Dragonfire?
The epicenter, the progression, the heat, the char marks. I've studied it in the past.
Would a baby dragon do it?
Again, we would have heard about a dragon. Even a baby dragon would have.
Baby dragon is kind of relative.
Yeah,
I
baby
didn't-
dragon is still bigger than you.
I would have told you that they didn't exist anymore if I hadn't, I don't know, seen it in the sky with a flying tentacle ship. But I don't know.
Wait, there were dragons with the tentacle ship?
Yeah, specifically
Yeah.
red dragons, right?
Yeah, so Clyde would have been. Well, no, Clyde saw one rip open the side, but Roland and I believe Boko were the first who were pooled, and so they never got sight of the dragons.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay.
Dragons are back.
Well, if you knew where to look, they never really left.
Duly noted. There's a lot going on right now.
Where do you hide a dragon?
Mountain, apparently. I'll tell you a story sometime.
What do
I lost a
any
Henrietta on that
of us
mountain.
know of dragons in terms of like legends and stuff?
Give me a history check.
Not my forte, but sure, we'll see what legends Cade has heard.
At 20, here we go.
Can Clyde be helping this? Because Clyde has definitely heard
There's
lots
my
of legends.
balance.
Clyde can make one advantage.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful. I would love
There's my balance from all my nat 20s.
What do I got?
Like,
Oh, yes.
Hey.
All your nat 20s balanced out at a single 3.
Well, I saw it, and as it should be, the only one. Roland.
Yeah, so Cade, you've heard legends, but again, all of the legends speak about them being long since dead. Certainly in the principalities, no one has seen a dragon anytime, though many sailors will claim they do. It's usually because they're well and drunk or trying to impress someone. Clyde, you've actually seen a dragon firsthand. It was quite a few years ago, quite a few decades ago now. But you were traveling through the city, I believe it was of Fairhold, whenever there was some incursion, and you had kind of taken, well, for lack of a more elegant term, you had hid. There was this massive invasion of Warforged, which were supposed to have been...
I was taking notes for future people to take down. Exactly.
There was sorry, it was in Flamekeep, not Fairhaven. Yeah, Fairhaven. It was in Flamekeep, and you had kind of hidden whenever these massive Warforged had dropped from the sky. Warforged were supposed to be no longer built after the Thronehold Accords, but suddenly they were there and they took over the city, and you were hiding, and then you emerged out and there was this huge battle. There was a red dragon in the sky that was massive, and somehow it died. You're not exactly sure how, but that was like what, 60, 80 years ago now. Who really knows? It was a long time ago. But you also know that before then, dragons were more common, and over the last few hundred years, sightings have been rare to non-existent.
Well, yeah, it's almost been a decade since I last saw one, but I reckon they're still around places, just trying to hide since the Warforged seem to take great anger with them, seems. Anyway, I don't think this is dragon. You say it's dragon fire, but there's no way it's dragon.
Exactly. Which means that someone in the city can mimic dragon fire.
So, I will say this. I had a discussion with Iz last night. There's more to the Crimson Haze than just them being a little cowardly. Things are... The Pride is pretty sure that they're up to something. A rather brutal band of pirates that had the King's Cut, which is, it's the best territory to raid. They've gone missing, and the only other pirates that are in the area were the Pride and the Crimson Haze. The Pride was obviously, holding us ransom and going and breaking into prison, so it's unlikely for it to be them. Which leaves the Crimson Haze of possibly being suspected of foul play. I also saw... what's his name?
Yves
Yves-
Lexith.
Yeah, I also saw Lexith last night with a red-headed woman with her hands bound. They were trying not to be seen, but she draws eyes.
What time was this?
Early, well, let's see.
Yeah, early.
8, 9-ish?
Interesting. We ran into Yves last night as well.
Where? You did?
That's right, you were not among us.
I don't remember much after you stabbed me.
We could have left that part out, but...
Okay, and leave you alone for one night to have some fun.
It was a lot of fun, I think. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of fun. I don't remember a lot of it, so I must have had a lot of fun.
There was knife throwing involved, there was drinking involved, there was
I'm no good at
knife throwing trying to miss Clyde involved, there was missing the miss involved. It was a good time.
Fine.
Until,
Fine.
on the way back to the ship, the Crimson Haze jumps out of the shadows, led by Yves. You could say they were eavesdropping. And... oh, shut up, you liked it.
So, they jumped to you? What happened?
They didn't want to rough Clyde up anymore, which surprised me. They just wanted the scroll.
What?
Would you keep your voice down? The sludge hasn't kicked in yet.
Nah, I'm feeling way better.
A few other heads also kind of turn and look over at the giant yell.
I ain't even had that one night.
Just to
You had it for most of
clarify,
the night.
did you investigate? How thoroughly did you investigate that scroll?
I thought thoroughly, but now I want to investigate it again.
Hey, Roland, can you roll me a d20?
Maybe they're not as bad as we thought if they forgave us so easily.
Oh no, Roland, you're being eavesdropped on.
Solid 11.
Why did it have to be Roland?
Who won?
There's this moment of connection as you kind of are recapping these things and overlapping these things and these thoughts are going through. There was a distinct similarity, now that you've seen them both, between the woman on the scroll and the red-headed woman that you had seen.
Wait, I saw her?
The red-headed woman you had saw that threw the man off the cliff earlier yesterday.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. It feels like that's...
Wasn't me.
No, I know you weren't the one who threw him off. Like, you didn't throw him off a cliff. You're more subtle than that. You stabbed him in the back.
You saw him die. How was I responsible for his first
I
death?
saw him fall off a cliff, get up and walk away.
Yeah, he
I
did
followed
fall into a
him,
pool. He didn't die
and then
from
as
that.
soon as I lost sight of him,
Yeah.
I round a corner and he's on the ground
Forgiven.
with a knife wound in his back.
He
Multiple
fell on the
knife
knife.
That's
he was
forgiven.
thrown.
Yeah, he had it coming.
wounds. He had it coming.
Down to that knife 10 times.
He only had himself to blame. But yeah, and so Roland's just like running through, like trying to calm Clyde down, then just like stops for a second and goes, "Wait a second. I can do you one better than the scroll. Do you want to see the person who it was a painting of? I might know where she is."
Well, sure. Why are we standing here? Let's go get Jasira and go see this mystery redhead. I ain't doing nothing else. Stay to the
This
draw.
is actually great timing if I can interrupt super quick
Yeah.
instead of typing out this long whisper message. Did you say Caldus? It's taken me long. I know, a while to place the name.
Yes, I did.
Am I surprised to see him?
No, you know that he was
Alive?
supposed to be. No, so Caldus was the next one that you were aware of that you hadn't gotten to, I believe, if I remember my own notes well enough. He was the one that you kind of, whenever you had scratched off the original name, Faltus's name, you had kind of been moving on, and Caldus was the next one. Caldus Banham.
Oh, he was my responsibility.
Yeah, he was the next one on your list.
Oh. Man. So
You're just checking all the boxes
head
today.
In that, Sorry, I didn't realize they were like my personal responsibility to attend to after, saying where they were. But is it too late to also head in that direction?
You were already heading in that direction, and we were going to get to that in a moment, so we can append that. Yes.
Okay, my bad.
Sorry, continue on, David.
That's about what I had of just like he pieced it together, but he's just saying like there's something about that scroll. I want to get it back. I want to look more into it. I just opened it up and went, oh, poo, it's just a pinup poster. But why would he carry it like that, strapped to his back? Why would he keep it on him at all times? And why would I get jumped in the street just to get it back?
Wait, you said you could
take a lot of ownership over it for somebody who gave it to me yesterday.
I gave it to you yesterday because I wasn't interested in it. Now I'm interested in it. You're not getting it back if I can.
You only want it because you want it.
Roland, you said you could show me this woman, like an image of her?
I saw her throw someone off a cliff, and then I followed that guy, and that guy got stabbed in the back, and then... Long stories.
But she was a redhead, yes?
Yes.
Stunning, drop-dead gorgeous redhead?
You saw the poster. I'll let you make the judgment call on stunning and drop-dead gorgeous.
Just to be clear,
absolutely.
There are more than a single redhead, correct? Like this. Is this a common trait?
There is only one.
Well, I know the two brothers on that pirate crew redheads.
Yep.
Austin. Now that Roland has made this connection, does the pinup poster I saw match up with the glimpse of the redheaded woman that I had caught last night?
You didn't catch many details of the face. Again, it was trying to be hidden, but kind of with what Roland is talking about, there is a distinct possibility, even a probability, especially with the strange connections around it, especially since you had noticed Yves, and they were the one who had claimed the poster back from Clyde and Roland.
Okay, so backing up here, I saw a glimpse of the redheaded woman that I'm pretty sure now is the pinup woman. Her hands were bound and was being led out by Yves. Okay, and then you saw her.
And to be clear, she wasn't being led out by Yves, but she was led out of the room where Yves was sitting.
Oh, okay. She was led out by someone else.
Yeah.
By
a bald
Sonic
mustache
villain.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why that picture. Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw her, hands bound, being led out by a bald man with a mustache.
Dr. Robotnik.
And you then saw her later, clearly unbound, pushing a man off a cliff. What did the man look like?
Earlier.
Oh, you saw
this
her
was
earlier.
This was when I slipped off into the city and was exploring. I ran into her. I came back after the guy got stabbed. I walked over. I made him not die, and then may have gone through his clothes for loose change.
Okay.
More than I got in the bar fight. But
what did the man look like that got pushed off the cliff?
I give the description.
Yeah.
If he's still alive, can we just ask him why he was stabbed?
If we can find him, I propped him up against a wall.
Yeah, he's an older man, white hair. From the description, Cade, you would be able to piece together that he is kind of an aide to that is known around town. There's not really a government around Port Krez, but there is actually a sea prince who does represent Port Krez. And this man, I know his last name is Faltus, but I gotta look up his first name. But he, what? Oh, is it Fall?
Zivalis.
Oh, is it? Did I just have the name terribly wrong?
Oh, that's what I had. Zivalis Faltar.
Altar. Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to search and it's... Oh, I'm looking in the wrong spot. That's why. Oh, goodness. Yeah, but Zivalis Faltar, he's essentially an aide that is known around, that is a wealthier man who is definitely a retired sailor and rests on his laurels a bit and tends to throw his weight around to kind of get what he wants.
Can you post that name in the chat?
Yeah.
So he's a local. He works kind of with the local government. Wealthy, former sailor, bit of a show off. And you say he said he got thrown off a cliff and then stabbed?
Yes, thrown off a cliff by Red and Gorgeous, and then I followed him to see why he got thrown off a cliff, see if I could figure out more about him. And I lost sight of him around a corner. When I rounded the corner, he was on the ground with a stab wound in his back.
Multiple
stab wounds in his back. As if someone had taken a bunch of knives and just...
And then you stabilized him.
Yes.
Okay, so red-headed woman is bound by a bald-headed man with a mustache that I did not recognize. I saw...
It looks like he'd been killed by me.
I saw Yves in the general vicinity of the red-headed woman. Earlier that night, you were jumped for the pinup poster, and then you saw...
In the night. This was after all the drinking and knife throwing and missing.
Okay, but you saw the woman before I saw her.
During daylight.
Okay, so first we have the red-headed pinup woman pushing a man off a cliff.
Yes.
Said man gets up, walks away, gets stabbed by an unknown party. You stabilize him.
She threw him off the cliff, made eye contact with me, and said, some people can't keep their nose out of other people's business or something along those lines. It wasn't a covert, oh, I'm going to try and kill someone. It was a, you've bothered me and I'm going to chuck you.
Ah, okay.
So, since you're sticking your nose in her business, does that mean she'll just come to us trying to kill you? We don't even have to look? Right? Am I misunderstanding the method here?
I was typing.
Right. So, Redhead is angry at Zivalis for sticking his nose in her business, so
Yes.
pushes him off a cliff.
Yes.
The cliff doesn't kill him.
He landed in water.
I mean, water can really hurt if you land from high enough up.
It was 10-15 feet.
Oh, well that's
That's
how do we know she was trying to kill him then? Because that's not very deadly.
Okay.
I don't think she intended to kill, just maybe maim or seriously injure.
Well, I thought we
woman's
were using that to imply the redhead woman stabbed him later. Or do we think that's unrelated?
No, the red-headed
No.
woman very definitely didn't stab him later because I saw her walking up the alley after I stabilized him and then I hid and she just kept going. She didn't make it to him in time to have been the one to stab.
Okay, so Pin-up redhead, angry, pushes government aid off a cliff. Someone else is also angry at Zivilis and stabs him nearly to death until you stabilize him.
Multiple times, yes.
Right. Okay. What happened after you stabilized him?
After I stabilized him, I left. I came back, found the group, because I don't like getting into too much trouble by myself. And everyone had already scattered, so I grabbed Clyde and said, let's go ask questions and see why someone would want to kill this old man that looked non-threatening. And so we went out to a tavern and started attempting to ask questions. There was more drinking than asking questions done. And we were asking questions of, there was this young lady who was throwing knives at a target, and we got into a knife throwing competition, and she was very, very good with her knives.
Ah, yes, Dagger McStab face.
Yes.
I'm sure.
And had multiple knives. I'm sure it's a coincidence.
Okay, so
If your parents known you that, you should be good with knives.
okay, so time of events. Zivilis stabilized.
Yes. Still during daylight.
Daylight. Okay. I see in the evening, red-headed woman has somehow been found and bound by a bald mustached man and led off. Yves is in the vicinity. Later that night.
So this is probably about the same time that Clyde and I get to the tavern. With Dagger McStabby face.
Right. So you find Dagger McStabby face, and what do you learn?
Rita. We honestly didn't learn much from her. She was a bit cryptic, and her name was Crete. It's starting to come back. Maybe that sludge actually worked. She was really good with her knives. She's one of the crew on the Storm Fortress, one of the Kuja.
Do I know that ship, Austin?
I
they
believe
new?
That's a newer one. I don't think that was in the list that I gave you, but...
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, yeah, then they would have been one...
It was in the list of ships that you said we watched pull into the dock.
Yeah, so it was one that you had gathered information on when you had arrived, but not one that you're familiar with from before.
It's the all-female crew. Right?
Yep.
Or at least all the officers are female?
Everyone on board was female.
Okay.
Okay. So what did she say?
She was pretty non-committal about any sort of plots in the town. She just said if we're new people to not make a mess, and we should be fine. We shouldn't have to be worried about a plot targeting us.
Okay. So you do that. That timing-wise probably happens before I see the redhead bound.
I mean, how long had it been dark, Clyde? DM?
You guys had gotten there when it was pretty dark. It was probably just after when Cade had been in the bar that you guys made it to the tavern.
Okay. Okay, so you're talking to the person that likely stabbed the government aid. I think you just said that she was a stabby McStabby face, and you just found out and stabbed multiple times. I was kind of making just an intelligent leap.
How many people here have a proclivity to stab people?
You
All
better
of
be
us.
glad Clyde is getting Jasira right now. You best be glad.
I am assuming that Jasira is you all are already back.
Yes. you do.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the leap that you were making.
Don't let him tell you no lies. Not last night he didn't stab me in the shoulder when I wasn't looking. He waited for me to turn my back.
So did I miss the connection of why you best be glad Jasira's coming? All I remember was talking about Stabby McStabby Face, which was Krita, and then now, like, Jasira's coming to kick some ass. Like,
Jagger mixed that face.
I'm sorry. I wasn't there when the name was coined.
Okay, what led you to talk to this Krita person in the first place?
Seemed like she'd be fun.
It was his idea.
No, as far as nights go, it went pretty well. Besides,
You
getting
had
stabbed
very
in the
nice
back.
knives. Hey,
Yeah, hey, no.
you twitched. If
Beat
you
you in a
hadn't
knife
moved,
throwing match, didn't I, last night?
Okay,
I think that the liquor
all
got to your
ungettable.
brain a little bit. You had a lot.
That makes sense if you were throwing them.
after you leave the bar, you were jumped.
Yes.
I don't
Very
remember
late
none of
at
that.
night.
I
He
remember,
was unconscious. I was carrying him back to the ship
Yeah, I don't remember leaving the bar, so
after beating him in a knife throwing contest.
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
that was
Okay.
maybe like 1, 2 in the morning after they had been drinking for a good portion of the evening.
Okay. So the haze just took the scroll. That was it.
Just the scroll. Which is what I am very suspicious of what's actually in it, and certain that I missed something.
Okay. So we've got a woman, redheaded woman scorned on a poster, but we've also seen her in person, bound and throwing men off cliffs. The Crimson
Not at the
Haze
same
are somehow
time, but yes.
Yes, the Crimson Haze are somehow involved, and Zivilis, a government aid, is also involved.
Yes. So if you know the description of the old man, then should we go find him? Should we go find...
Isn't the old man dead?
No, I stabilized him. I mean, unless someone else came along and found an old man leaning up against the wall in an alley and then went shink shink again.
Well, this building burst into flames, so I don't know.
And the building burst into flames this morning.
Okay, and then we have a
I got
mysterious...
attacked like twice in one like hour period, right? It might actually
you
be
left
likely
that
someone
old
else
man
found
there.
him.
You left him to die.
I saved his life and was not overly bound to make sure that he made it home.
Somebody was trying really hard to kill him, or multiple people were.
Okay,
Pushed off a mild cliff by someone he bothered and then got stabbed in an alley on his way home. But it...
tell you what. This has gotten complicated very fast.
Yes.
I'm due to be back on the ship anyways to meet up with some of the crew before the draw. Why don't I give this to the ears of people with a little more familiarity with the people at play?
Maybe I should go back and talk to Iz. He knows people in politics.
Roland, can you roll me another d20?
Oh, frickin' heck, why me?
Because this directly
you're the worst with the
impacted you,
D20?
actually.
Oh!
Okay, sure. I thought we were gonna get there 20 minutes ago when you offered to go see where the woman is. But Roland remembers what was written at the top of this page, which was Scheherazade, the most beautiful woman in the world. And you also remember that when you first entered Port Krez, you had been greeted by a large, bald man with a thick, bushy mustache who was asking people to come and see Scheherazade, the most beautiful woman in the world. And it was a large, brightly colored tent with a huge sign, the words written in a fancy, almost glitter-filled script.
Okay, so before the last commercial break, he thought he had it, but we came back, and now he's really got it.
No, wait, DM. Let's talk this
I'm
out.
on the 12. Okay, so let's get the timeline right. So first, we step off the ship and we see Bald and Bushy.
Okay. Very well. Why don't you follow that track? I'm going to go back to the Pride and update a couple people and frankly go see my family because it's probably the only time that I'm going to see them for the next foreseeable future.
The fox.
Not the Pride.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because I thought I was going to the Pride. Okay, I'm caught up.
I am going to the Fox. As for what Is may or may not know, he didn't seem to indicate that he knew anything about a plot with a red-headed woman last night. But maybe if you include a name, he might know something extra.
Zivilus, you say?
Oh, say that one more time.
Zivilus was the name that you said you recognize the description of the old man who got stabbed?
Yeah,
and
the official
stabilized
thrown
and
off the
is
cliff.
Definitely alive right now?
I don't know. If his dead body isn't where you left him, then more than likely he's alive or was
Alright.
alive enough to get up and walk off.
I'll swing by where I left him. See if someone came along and stabbed someone leaning up against a wall unconscious.
Or
Most of the
even
time we
worse,
just assume they're drunk
from
and
them.
leave them alone, but
Yeah, they could have tried to mug him. That'd be awful.
Wake up with nothing in your pockets, not even a knife to defend yourself.
okay.
At least you woke up.
Yes. I'm gonna go back to the Fox, and report this, whatever the fuck this is. I'm assuming you guys are gonna go investigate. Well, I guess see if Zivilus is alive, and then go investigate Bald Mustache Man with the best beautiful woman alive. Is that about the gist of it?
So I think
to
we
see
swing
the
through
most
the
beautiful woman
alley.
alive.
We swing through the alley, see if Old and Stuffy is still up against the wall. Then we swing up the cliff and see if Red and Gorgeous her stuff is up there. And then we go looking for the show and see if we can find Bald and Bushy.
Sounds like a plan.
And then we go to the Pride and see if Iz has heard of any of these people.
I have an important question.
Yes.
If we're swinging by, does anyone have a spare rope? Because you don't have a rope, right? Because you don't bring them to the library.
It is right here!
Whew. All right,
And
so
Roland can't get a break tonight.
so
He's
you
gotta
guys
climb.
begin to split up as Cade. The Azure Fox is one of the longer tenured crews, has one of the back bays, and has a port to itself. So you head to the back area. Roland, you kind of head in the direction of where you had left Zivilus Falter. Zivilus Falter. Boko, Clyde, Jasira, Sindri, who are you guys following? Where are you guys going? Are you guys just ignoring this that had happened and going somewhere else?
Well, Clyde's gonna go with Roland.
Okay.
I'm going to investigate the
Find this
mystery.
not dead guy.
So Sindri, are you also going with
Yes.
Roland? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yes.
And Boko, Jasira?
I'll be honest, Jasira doesn't give a fuck about any of this. So I guess she'll just follow the group. The biggest group, so I guess that'd be Roland right now. That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll go with as well. I was.
Recon mission.
Oh God, I heard the DM say resonance earlier, and I felt personally attacked.
Resonance.
Alrighty, so as you guys set off to the back corner where Roland had left Falter before, we'll return back to Krita. As Krita, you had caught sight of Cultus Banham, Baldy McBushface, or whatever you guys had referred
Bald
to him
and
as.
bushy.
Bald and bushy.
Bald and bushy.
You had caught sight of him leading a cloaked figure down towards the docks, and had kind of tailed after him. You can see as they have made it towards the docks and are beginning to head towards where the ships are actually moored. There's maybe about 150 feet to where these ships are, or where they begin. What are you doing?
Now, this reminds me of the start of a romance novel.
Sindri,
The books
you're gonna have
you
to let me
read.
know what type of books you read.
Murder is how you start a
I
romance, or
read all
attempted
the
murder.
books at my uncle's church.
Whoa.
What?
And how does church play into an almost murder romance novel?
Stone giants are crazy, man.
Just
I need
wondering.
to know. What sort of denomination? Definitely Protestant.
I don't know why he lived there, so they were his books too. So I don't know.
Are you making?
All right, we can circle back to that.
Before we
Flattery.
leave it,
I
is
know. I
Sindri
think the
making an
DM wants to go with that
insinuation?
now.
Is Sindri making an insinuation that his priestly uncle was involved with smut in his house? Is that what I'm getting here? We'll leave
That
it
was
there.
the whole religion.
Stone
That was the book
giants
he preached
live
from.
a long, solitary lives.
I'm
they
very-
need something to fill it.
Very
And they're
interested in
always
Sindri's
rock
backstory
hard.
there. Oh gosh.
Damn it! Damn it!
Regardless,
Uncalled for.
Krita, what are you doing?
Two quick things. Are these like streets pretty busy, or is
So
it
this is
just
down by
us
the
walking?
docks. Everyone has kind of gathered up by the fire. There's only a few people at various boats. They're pretty scattered at this point, as everyone is kind of enjoying the last few hours of revelry, either up at the captain's daughter or interested in the fire. And so most of the streets here, and again, the docks is now where they've gotten to, is pretty open and empty.
And do I have any idea if this woman is going to be friend or foe or neutral? Do I think she'd be happy to be freed of his company, or would is this going to be two people I would have to fight?
Give me an insight check.
Okay.
Yeah, she is being pulled along, and while she's walking, there's definitely a bit of a like tug every once in a while because she's not going fast enough. She is clearly bound. This is certainly a dominant position that this bald figure is in, that she is not. She might be used to it, but she's not happy with it. Certainly, she is talking back. She is dragging her feet, and this man is trying to pull her quickly across the dock.
Okay. And somewhat unlikely since I know they are docks, but if I can follow and get close to like 60 feet or less following behind, is there any point where they're going to pass over a corner or an overhanging or something where there will be, a shadowy or darker area that they have to pass by?
Not particularly. There's these there's multiple large ships that are moored here, and there are large like cranes that are moving cargo. And so there's lots of boxes and crates rather that are up on these cranes, and there's some that are down on the dock. But there's not really a corner. It's pretty much a straight shot down to the multiple ships here. But at least for now, you don't see anyone on many of the decks of these ships.
Okay. I will have to make my own shadows, but that's fine. I didn't copy over spell slots, so give me a second while I look this up so I can copy and paste it. But if possible, I'm going to try to cast Darkness.
Okay.
And reading the spell, range of 60 feet. So if I can get it within 60 feet, what I will do, I'll just copy paste. I will attempt to cast Darkness. Sorry, it's just copy pasted.
No, you're good.
So that I can quickly shadow step up to them to make my attacks.
Perfect.
And I think I cast that with key. Yeah. 2 key.
And do you have the ability to see through this darkness yourself?
I do if I also cast Dark Vision. Which
So
I suppose I ought
don't think
to.
dark vision
No, I don't
goes
think
through
so.
magical
No.
darkness.
Oh, interesting.
No, you
I
need something
thought-
like blind sight or trimmer sight or trim.
I
Oh.
thought that
witch's
shadow
sight.
monks
Well,
do
blind sight.
have
I think
that,
that's the
but I
first
think
Yeah.
it's... Hold on, let me...
Yeah, but Sindri has blind sight, so I had to say it again.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
This is more Sindri pumping himself up. I can see through it.
Ha! But I'm not there.
I mean,
No, I don't think you do. So
He
it
does
would
not,
just be
no.
the disadvantage cancels out the advantage, so it's just a flat roll.
okay. That's fine.
'Kay.
It's still cool for story effect.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
you
do
can
it.
certainly do it on the edge, where you can kind of maximize your benefit to get the advantage, and then kind of pull out to the other side so that the darkness is behind you, kind of blocking visual, but you're not hindered by the effects any longer.
Gotcha. That sounds good. It still makes it cool to sneak up. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and
Murder is
then
cool,
since for the right reason, money. So if I take Caldus a little more seriously than Zivalis. So I'm gonna do my extra attack, martial art attack. But I will use one more key point to do a stunning strike as well. So he has to make a Constitution saving throw if I hit.
Okay, give me those attack rolls.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Okay, well that certainly hit. Oh gosh.
Where was that
What?
8 when I was throwing knives with you?
What
It was a
is-
good night.
You were rolling them.
What is the DC on this Constitution save?
It is
27.
a 14, I think, if I am right about numbers.
He rolled an 8
Big
plus
pass.
4, which I believe is a 12. So he does not succeed on that. And so in this moment, as you pull out this darkness and there's just a and he kind of turns around, you were suddenly there with just a quick dagger slash and just slamming into the side of his head. And his vision kind of spins as he is caught for this moment unaware and cannot use his action for anything because he's stunned. What would you like to do next?
I mean, I'd attack again, I guess. Like,
Go for it.
Lips on the mic.
Wait,
I'll
so
do it
your
again.
boy
it-
still
it
does.
standing. So.
did you stun on the first dagger strike?
Was the stun on the dagger strike or was it from the fist? Does it
Let me see if it says it has to be. When you hit another creature
I
with a
don't
melee
think
weapon
it
attack,
does.
so it would be on the dagger.
Okay, so then, well, I guess it's a natural 20, so it doesn't, you don't need to
Yeah.
roll at advantage. But yeah, your additional attacks are at advantage.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So the the 20 and 8 would have been the next 2d20s, and she would still
Oh,
have,
I see what you're saying.
one more strike at
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah, so give me one more
Okay.
strike at advantage. Oh, and then I need you to roll
Yeah.
damage too.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that one hits as well. So roll damage for all 3. And yeah, so he is stunned in this moment, kind of knocked clear off, and just from the first dagger kind of carves up, and the second one actually makes it past the hole that is now opened up in the armor, and you see his blood starts to pool around the second strike, and with the knock to the kind of throat area, he's kind of pushed backwards, kind of now on the edge of this dock, and is still spinning, and you have another opportunity to give more attacks if you'd like.
Okay. Do I
Advantage.
At advantage, yeah.
do I have any idea of like how? Nah, I'll just make him.
Is he bloodied?
Yeah.
But it's in dark. You couldn't tell. Oh,
I'm not. Never mind.
Flurry of blows.
that doesn't matter.
I like. Well, I kind of like the stunning, but yeah. I'll just get one more in there.
One more stunning strike?
It's probably. No, I'll do Fury of Blows for one more actual
Oh, unarmed.
unarmed strike.
Or you
Okay.
could stun him again and just keep
I
doing
know.
this.
That feels a little dishonorable.
Oh, but it's what? That's monk strat.
All right, give me the damage rolls on those.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
unlock them. Bosses hate this one simple trick.
And Sam, can you go ahead and roll me 2 D100s?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, because those
Yeah,
crits
that's
are
a lot of
doing
damage.
HP.
Oh, cut off both his legs.
And the second one is plus 10. Oh, okay. Those are both of them. Okay. So 17 and 36. So with the first attack,
26.
Plus 10 though.
plus 10 because it's the second one.
I
Yeah.
didn't hear that.
So the first one, he kind of gets knocked off. Can't perform a bonus action for his next turn, but he already lost his next turn anyway. So after that, with the 36, his speed is reduced by half until the next turn. So one of the strikes actually carved up his calf, and so he's bleeding from the leg as well. And he
Now he can't get
looks
away.
looks on just the verge of death as he's beaten and bruised and now bleeding, but still clinging to a bit of life for this moment. Are you moving? Are you staying close to him?
I don't have any bonus actions left to disengage, and I don't want to give him an attack action. So
Okay, well,
I guess so.
so then now I'd like you to actually roll initiative to see if he goes
Yeah,
before you or
fair
after
enough.
you.
Yes, roll high, roll high.
You've got an inspiration if you want to use it on that.
Yeah, I would like to not die. You know.
Or
It's honorable to make sure he gets a turn. Spends inspiration to go before him.
Maybe this redhead could like help a little bit.
So
Had a chance.
gonna push
You-
him into the water and he drowns.
he rolled a 10 plus 5, so you
He is
will
good at
go
pushing people
before
in the
him,
water.
and he is on the edge of the dock. And you notice now that he has let go of the rope, and the redhead is somewhere in the darkness behind. You guys are just on the edge of it now, the two of you. But he's still trying to recover and is like reaching for his weapon. And you have one more moment. What are you doing?
Do it again.
Well, I'll go ahead and go back to the stunning strike, using
Murder.
up all my key points. Am I back to normal?
Yes, these are flat.
Yeah. Okay. So stunning strike this time on the dagger.
Okay,
Ugh.
don't roll the rest yet. Let's see if he fails that stun strike and gets rid of that one.
Yeah, we'll see.
Ooh,
It's a 14.
I forgot about that.
Yep. Natural 6. So that is an 11 on the second one. Go ahead and roll another one at advantage. And then give me those two other, or no, the 11 misses, but yeah, the
Unarmed.
24 hits. So
Yeah.
4 and 7. Yeah. Just every opportunity, everything goes perfectly for you. This person is certainly more hardy and should have put up a little bit of a fight, but you're well trained, well executed in this moment, and just in a handful of seconds, you watch as you finally cut the throat with the dagger and just push with the last bit, and the body just falls over with a very soft splash into the water beside, and he is unmoving.
Excellent. She'll let go of the darkness if it was still up, or if that's in her power to do. Tap most of her knives away, but hang on to one. She'll probably head off fairly quickly, but will pause a minute as she gets her knives in order in case this woman takes the initiative to say anything. She'll kind of watch for her reaction. If she doesn't do anything, she'll just sort of nod and head her own way.
So as you pull down the darkness, kind of tapping the knives and looking back, the woman's gone.
Respectable. Excellent. So that was a full morning. I'll make sure I have all of my things gathered about me and go back and see if I can squeeze in a rest before we have to go.
So heading back to the ship to get this last bit of rest as you get another payment for a job well done. It's been an effective morning for you. And Karis is quite impressed as you come back to her. And any sort of dip in demeanor that had developed over the past day for certain circumstances has more than been made up for. Roland, as you and the others make your way up towards where you had last seen Falter, there is a large blood streak and some blood trail that eventually kind of falters off, but
so to speak.
There is no body.
So it looked like he got up and walked away?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I told you, he was fine.
Fine. Yeah, sure looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Woke
all
up,
right.
he walked away.
All right, Roland. I believe you.
What if he was kidnapped?
I'm not a
or
miracle worker,
someone
you
ate
know.
him? Ooh, what if someone ate him?
Are you, Sindri? Are you hungry? Do you need breakfast or something?
I ate. I had a bowl of Oreos.
Wow.
Oh.
Is there a 15-foot ledge with a puddle underneath you can push Sindri off of?
You know, there is one about 100
right
feet.
up there.
Yeah.
Here. This is where he fell off. Just look over the edge, just like this.
Yeah.
But yes, eventually not finding him. You do have this blood trail that leads a good ways. Or is there something else that you guys wanted to do? You guys maybe have a couple hours before the ships are set to sail.
Let's follow the blood trail, see where it ends.
See who else stabbed him.
That's going to be great. He's just on the other corner, just dead.
I'd want to follow the
Yes.
blood trail, see if I could follow it to its end.
All right, we all pull out our magnifying glasses and we bend over and look real close at the ground.
Roland, give me an
He's gonna be,
investigation
like,
check at
dead
advantage
just around the
for
corner.
everybody helping out.
Honestly, with this crew, I think it would be at disadvantage.
We're helping.
I mean, if you want to do that, go for it.
Sindri is very much helping.
Yeah, it's not the clearest trail. Eventually, it starts off very clear, and kind of as it goes, begins to get less and less. As most of the blood seems to be right where the initial impact was. But you're able to pick up drops here and there to follow it enough on a track. It's maybe half a mile, 3/4 of a mile before it leads you to this pretty large house in a nicer area of the neighborhood.
See, he made it home.
What if this is his kidnapper's home?
On the door, there's a plaque that says Z period falter.
Thank you. On the door, there's a plaque that says Z period falter. Yes, I think his kidnapper has the same name as him.
Isn't it more likely to get stabbed by someone you know?
I will look in the window if
It is
that
in
makes
this
you
town.
happier.
All right, Roland. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just like kind of go up and kind of like trying to catch a glimpse of movement in the windows or are all the curtains drawn or anything like that.
The curtains aren't drawn. No, actually, so most of the curtains are drawn on this house, but the front ones were pulled open as he had looked out to see the commotion this morning.
Okay. Are they easily accessible just by walking by to like look in? Or is there like a courtyard with a fence that I have to get through?
I mean, there is, but like this is still like a pirate island. Like it's not high security. And there's not like there's guards anywhere posted. It's a fairly low profile. It's easy to kind of sneak up, get a glance, and to go back. Though an important question
should have more security.
Would Kreda have hidden the body?
No, I don't think so. To be honest with you, I don't think she would have. You know, leaves fingerprints. Get in, get out. That could be anyone.
So yeah, as you glance in to this window, it is immediately evident that there is a body right in the entryway, as if it was like right as soon as he entered the door.
Well,
Sindri
he
soon
made
to be
it
smooth
home,
face.
and I mean, is it really?
I'm gonna look both ways and try the door. Is the door unlocked?
The door is unlocked.
Pop it open and just like tell everyone else, keep watch.
No, you're gonna.
Did you tell Sindri that he was right?
Shut the door.
Not yet.
Oh, you bastard.
I don't want him making a shit ton of noise and drawing attention to the fact that I'm walking into this guy's house.
Roland, it's very quick. You kind of step in, immediately look down. Go ahead and make me an investigation check on this one.
I'm looking for wounds. And, you know, I should have guidanced, but that's enough. 2
brand new knife wounds in this body, as well as a thin line across the neck that is bleeding out or has bled out.
Raised dead.
It seems this man. It seems this man did not die longly.
I would like to use my freaking not channel divinity.
Yeah, I have trauma from that word. Don't do that.
As a cleric, to invoke my god to bring him back to life. No, he's gonna look and see if he can determine like the general shape and size of the blade from the wound and compare it to, because at this point the memories are coming back. Someone very good with her knives made a point of asking, is the previous owner of that knife still alive, and took interest in that. Like the dots are starting to connect at this point.
Yeah, then you can use the same investigation roll, but from a visual inspection, there's nothing that is concrete, but the blade depth, the blade width, it matches the profile. It could certainly be the same blades.
Okay. Enough to ask another question.
Yeah. Enough for you to be like, this is a weird number of coincidences.
Yeah.
Well, you found your dead guy. You feel better?
Do you remember?
See, most people get killed by their relatives at home.
You're standing watch outside. You don't know he's dead yet.
Never gonna tell you anything till it's well over.
No one was home. He must have left.
We'll get back to
Next.
the ship. Like you know, there was a dead guy behind that door the whole time.
Next scan through the room is for valuables. Because if nothing has been taken, this was an assassination.
Are you taking your time or just doing a glance in the couple rooms?
Somewhere in between. Like,
Okay.
I'm not just going like poke the head in, close the door.
Yeah,
I'm checking
a-
behind paintings for safes, like stuff like that.
Okay,
But it's a quick sweep. I'm not taking 10 fucking minutes
Yeah,
in here.
He's not taking.
then
He's not
give me an
prying off any
investigation check.
furniture yet.
Yeah.
He's not checking the couch cushions.
Yeah.
Bro, I thought we were just coming to see if this guy made it. I didn't know we were robbing him.
Yeah, it is very clear to see that there are multiple items that are of clear value. And you even kind of find some that are small enough to tuck away. Small little trinket
sure.
boxes. There are numerous spots where there are like areas of letters kind of scattered across. There's a pretty nice gilded letter opener next to them. Kind of small trinkets that just show wealth. But
Yep.
certainly something that a robber would have taken.
Okay, then this robber will. And I may as well grab a couple of things, but especially like letters and such. I'm going to grab correspondence
Okay.
stuff that I can read.
Yeah.
And then oh gosh. Did Clyde walk in with me, or is he standing watch outside?
Clyde is like, he walked in and closed the door behind him, but he hasn't gone with you.
Okay.
He's all at the body. He's just sitting. Roland.
It was.
I thought you didn't kill him.
I didn't. This was definitely an assassination. Look at this. Do you think a robber would have left this behind? Tucks it away. Okay. Okay. Are you drawing the same connections I am right now?
No, it still looks like you. Roland, you can't just kill people and take their stuff.
You didn't kill him. I saved his life, and then someone else
If you want
who
me to
found
help
out
you
he
hide a
was still
body,
alive.
it's fine. I can ask Sindri to dig the hole out back. He's good with that. He can probably dig straight through the rock.
I'll walk back over and go, all right, look here. These two are the ones I healed. These two, and then this one is the ones that killed him again.
See, look, this dagger was thrown. It obviously wasn't me.
We need to
You
get
see the
out of here. We also need to get out of here in a way that does not connect us with leaving this house. So, can you do the disappearing thing again?
I sure can. And Clyde's gonna
And
disappear.
can you do the disappearing and quiet thing?
Yeah, but Clyde disappears.
Excellent. I need you to find a way out and tell everyone else they need to walk away from the house. I will meet up by the pool that I pointed
Clyde's
out that
gonna
we want
open
to
the
throw
front
Sindri
door.
off of.
Okay, Clyde will open the front door
No,
and walk
not like
out.
that.
It's
Roland is going to sweep through to the back of the house and go out the back.
Yeah, with a natural 2, luckily the few people that are here are not paying attention and don't care at all. And so despite the situation, Clyde is able to kind of guide Boko and Sindri up back towards the pool where Roland, you do meet them.
And Jasira.
Is Jasira falling off? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jasira.
She's always quiet and doesn't give a fuck,
Following the
but
large
she's following
group.
the crowd.
I remember you saying that you didn't give care at all about this, and so I wasn't sure if you tagged along or not, but good to know.
Yeah, she followed the group.
Okay. But yeah, you guys are all able to meet up near the pool.
Oh, wait. Actually, shit. I have a thing.
Uh-oh. You're alone in the house.
On my sweep through the house, I'm going to pull off the eye patch and activate X-ray vision to look for any hidden compartments.
Okay. Yeah. In the desk, where all of the letters were kind of scattered off, there is an interior compartment that you kind of open up. We'll say with the investigation, it was enough to find the levers, and inside there are some additional stashed letters, as well as a large pouch of about 250 gold pieces.
was hoping for double so I could get a tattoo, but I'll take it.
Nice.
That brings me to that. Okay.
But yes, you guys have all gathered up near the pool.
Guys, meet me at the pool so I can rob this guy blind.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Rob him dead.
Roland's acting a little bit weird.
This
but I
is
think we
beyond
just
robbing
need some
him blind. This is advanced blind. I'm robbing him dead.
Yep, confirmed.
Fair point.
Well, he's dead. He doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, possession is 9/10 of the law, and he can't possess anything anymore, so...
Wow.
Anyway, you guys meet up at the pool. Is there anything related to this individual that you are still trying to do?
Let's see if we can find where Red and Gorgeous chucked him off the cliff. And, continue the investigation sweep.
Okay.
Looking for her at the top of the cliff if there's a residence up there, and then looking for any posters or bald and bushy.
Give me one more investigation at advantage. Whoever wants to make it, I'll take the first one that comes through.
Investigation
at advantage. Yep.
I'm sorry, guys.
You scan up here and you already feel the clock ticking, and you're just trying to go as fast as you can to get back in time. You see the remnants of what looks to be a camp, places where tent poles were, the remnants of a fire, but it doesn't look like a permanent residence by any means.
Okay. Yeah, we're scanned through. She's not here. There's not a permanent residence that we can crack into and look for her. So yeah, just start making our way back to rejoin with the others and see if we can listen for that hawker again calling out for the show, or find any posters saying where she might be.
Clyde has been invisible this whole time, and he's actually going to follow the party a little bit farther back, and just to see if anyone is watching the party after going through this dead semi-noble man's estate and stealing his shit.
Sure, give me a perception check.
Okay.
It's an island full of pirates.
Okay.
The first person to realize he was dead was going to do the same thing.
I got a 2.
It's an island full of pirates. You see a lot of pirates. Nobody seems to be paying you much mind.
There's a lot of fucking suspicious dudes on this place.
There's a lot of.
Let me make a perception check for a thief. Everyone's a thief.
Pirate Island or something.
It's like detecting magic in the magic shop. Yes, there's magic.
Goodness. But yeah, you guys eventually make it back down to the shore area, believing to be unfollowed. Clyde's careful eye, making sure of that. And you guys have maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And for brevity, since we're a little behind time, we'll forego the introductions on Cade's crew. We will get to those eventually. I apologize we didn't get to those tonight. But just moving a few things along here. But Cade is with the crew at the Fox.
Yeah, so Cade kind of strolls on board, and says hi to everyone. She's gonna go with business first and then relax afterwards. So okay. She's gonna go find Tiago first.
And are you just relaying information to him?
Yeah, basically. Cade's just gonna be okay, so I know that things are already weird. This is what I learned last night from Iz and the Pride. This is what I learned this morning from my crew, or from the people that I've been traveling with.
She called us her crew.
Yes, I did. This is what I found out this morning. Something super fucking shady is up. The Pride's on high alert. The Crimson Haze is up to something. And basically just regurgitate everything that she found out in the last 12 hours.
Yeah, Tiago takes a good bit of interest, but doesn't have much additional information to share on knowing what's going on with the Haze, other than his hatred of them. That is very well shared, but does recognize the name Scheherazade when it's brought up, and does kind of comment that he had noticed a man and that he actually knew the name of. Let me make sure. Caldus Banham. Who was kind of running the show and had moved in with this woman months ago, maybe like 3, maybe 4 months into Port Krez, claiming that she was the most beautiful woman in the world, had kind of not exactly been pimping her out, but had been pulling in a lot of money from pirates who wanted to see this woman. But that was about all that he knows about them.
But yeah, so she's just gonna kind of relay that and then just be like, if you can let the captain know, I'm sure that she's already on high alert with everything being on edge, but this might further bump up the amount of eyes that we keep looking out for trouble.
Of course, Damocles and I will make sure that everything is up and up.
Well, she did tell me to stop by. I'm not really sure if that was just a general invitation to hang out or if there was something that else she needed to tell me before the draw. Do you know?
I believe that she just wanted you to accompany us to the draw.
Okay. Well, if that's it, then I think I'll go say hi to everyone then before we have to set out.
Of course, they will be so glad to see you.
And so, yeah, so Cade, feeling very much at home, very much laid back, knows that there's shit's going on, but had a nice night, and was just like, you know what, I'm not gonna let shit ruin my day right now. It can ruin my day later. So, very at ease on the ship, is going around talking to everyone, saying hi to the new people on the boat. You can tell that she feels just like very at home and relaxed on the ship, as opposed to the usual hardness and like the bravado in the face, the kind of distance that normally is Cade, kind of all melts away and is not present at all when she's on the ship hanging out with everyone.
Absolutely. And the rest of you, do you eventually make your way to the Fox, or is there any last business that you had to attend to?
I mean, I think we were going to ask Iz about the stuff too and see if he had any insight, but that's probably a next session thing.
And Iz was probably likely already on the Morgan. Again, it's like 20 minutes till most of the boats are loading up. A lot of the crews are now making their way aboard the ships.
Gotcha.
But you guys could certainly take the trip, or some of you could, on the Morgan if you would like.
Sindri will be with Cade's crew.
I think I might actually go on the Morgan.
I think I might as well.
I want to talk with people I know about this.
I would like
a friend of a friend only goes so far. I've actually fought in battle with these people.
All right. So as the split kind of happens, Sindri...
Clyde's not going to the people that enslaved them.
Yeah, that's Sindri's opinion. I do not care to hang out with the people that killed our friends.
So Sindri, Clyde, Cade head off in one direction, Boko and Roland to another.
And Jasira.
And Jasira. And
An even split.
We'll find out where Theschault ends up.
If Jasira is with us and there's a fight, we might actually survive.
Got a stunning strike the party members. Leave them.
So, on a note, apparently I can't do that until next level because silly me just so excited to be level 5, you know. But yeah.
Subtle hint to the DM.
Oh,
cough.
Bardic inspiration so many times in a day.
But yes, as you guys all board upon the ships and begin to head off towards Reaver's Ridge, it's a fairly short journey, only about half an hour before you reach the edge of this area, where the ships themselves begin to be dwarfed by these massive large spikes that are growing up out of the sea here. These kind of large rock formations that have been eroded over time, almost like fingers or teeth that are reaching up out of the sea. And Roland, you said that you wanted to talk to people as you were on the ship?
Yeah, he'd look for Iz and basically run him through it and ask Iz to the people questions, right? Like who would do XYZ, who on the ship should I talk to for more about this? And while he's talking to him about that and explaining it, he's also rifling through the letters that he took, starting with the batch that was in the secret drawer.
Okay. So as you are kind of talking to Iz kind of gives you the rundown. Again, it's a pirate island. There are multiple people who could be responsible, but kind of relays, kind of confirming things that already were the situation, that they've kind of been keeping eyes on those with the Crimson Haze.
Yep. Yeah, and he would have led off with Cade had told us that stuff was happening with the Crimson Haze, and I think this is connected to like get his attention and get him thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's not here, is she? Did she stay back, or is she on?
She's making the trip with her family.
Right. Well, I'll look into things. Keep an eye out. We've got some more things that we'll be focusing on as we get in here. Just a look around, and this place is not exactly the easiest place to sail through. If we could get your help once we get into things, your hands are good on this ship. But if I hear anything, I'll let you know.
Alright. And if there's anything you want me to keep an eye out for at the draw, let me know. I only have one eye to keep out, but I'll do it.
He gives a nod. As you all are navigating through the ship, and Roland, I'll get to the letters here in a moment, but navigating across these large, actually, let me flip this just so that's on here. As you guys enter through into Reaver's Ridge, again, this entire ridge is just filled of these thick, large spike-like growths that pop out, not even quite islands, but just these spikes of stone that jut up out of the water. And all of you kind of working together on each of your ships have to help navigate through. Most of the time this journey is done by the most experienced. The captains, maybe their first mates or sailing masters, but as full crews, it is a treacherous and active duty that all of you begin to stay focused in on. And as you all get closer in towards this center, there is a section where there are multiple shipwrecks. These large ships that are just emerging from this section of the water that is treacherous, where many, it seems, had fallen or had issues with the wake and the wave here. And I would like for everyone to just go ahead and roll me a d20 as the general navigation through this on the various ships.
Okay.
Can I use guidance on mine?
That is, I've factored in bonuses and guidance. This is just a general direction of where this is headed. Holy smokes.
We're doing pretty decent.
Don't worry, I'll balance it. Holy smokes!
Pretty balanced.
Wait until next sesh when we roll combat. It's fucking.
Oh no! First round of combat, we're all gonna have debilitating wounds. We're all gonna have peg legs. It's gonna be great.
What do you mean we're all gonna have peg legs? Why do you say it like that?
It's like the worst possible thing for a pirate is to, be missing one of his legs.
Be unstable.
That's why you make it a suction cup.
Hey, I was unstable before I lost my leg, okay?
Mentally doesn't count. But yeah, as you all just man these ships well with experience and with some connection to the cruise that you were on, these ships definitely navigate these thin passages between the rocks, even around the various wreckage that is present there. And as you guys finally make it to the center of the maw, and Cade, this is even new for you, as well as for Krita. You have yet to see this, but there is a mass of just construction of various wrecked ships that are built together, and at the center of it, there is light and illumination coming from these tattered sails and this massive dragon head boat that is jutted out through the center. And Roland, there is some familiarity with this ship. It's old, and you've never seen this one directly, but the build, the design, the shape of that particular ship, it's familiar, and you have no idea how it got this far south. As far as you're aware, no records indicate any of those type of ships coming anywhere close to here. But it is the main figurehead. Its massive dragon figurehead being the point of this spire-like building that has been constructed out of various wrecked ships.
All right. He's just like hauling ropes, fixing them, and generally scuttling about as part of the crew, and then just at one point in the middle of tying off a rope just looks up and completely spaces looking at this.
This bay here is not meant to hold many ships, and so the ships come in tight and together, and the crews working together lash together ships and fit in as best they can, but there is not much space. And as pirates are disembarking, they're having to cross through other ships to get there, and you see the Crimson Haze. You see the Pride of Dreadhold. You see the Stormfey pirates, all of these various crews, the monsters that form the Kerrigan crew, the half-orcs and orcs of the Vargasni, the all-female crew of the Kuja, the golden displayed ornamental garb of the Golden Corsairs. All of these groups gathered together and kind of merging in this one group, all solemnly walking slowly forward towards this massive beast-like building. Are you all approaching as well, or is there, for anyone, including Krita, is there any divergence from the general mob moving forward?
I think it's funny.
No.
All rolling up in different crews.
Cade
So
will...
we can get a scene from the Pirates of the Caribbean where two ships blow up the one between them.
Oh god. Cade is gonna roll up right behind the captain and Tiago, and is gonna be flanking right behind them.
Clyde will be behind Cade.
And it is this strange standoff where there is a lot of tension, but no one makes any moves. Everyone is just this central front. And again, even the building, even though it's large and has been built out of multiple ships, it's not made for this many people. And so the halls are packed as everyone begins to wind their way up and through the edges. And eventually you see these guards individuals who are all singular in their blue uniform, but carry various weapons. Some of them have cutlasses and sabers, and some of them actually have this harpoon-like firearm that is carved to be like some sort of sea beast. But they all have these regal blue captain's dusters with kind of golden ornaments. And Cade, Krita, you guys know these to be the King's Guard that do stay with the King of the Maw as kind of a protective unit and his crew, for lack of a better term. And they guide everyone through, kind of keeping them on a central path. And there's at least a few dozen of them, and they all are very somber, very serious-looking pirates that seem to have quite a bit of experience and at least know where everyone is headed. Before eventually, all of the captains kind of make their way towards the front of this central chamber, and all of the various pirates piling in behind into this large room as it is now cramped and packed with all these individuals. And there is a central table that only has about 6 chairs, and no one sits in the chairs. But the captains, I believe 10 of them at the moment, gather around this table. And Cade, kind of doing the math and what had been communicated, there should be 11 here. There should be the captain of the Phantom Beasts as well, but only 10 are present at this meeting. You all kind of gather close nearby, kind of waiting, watching, and there is a lot of tension, there is a lot of whispers, but the whispers kind of get looks from the officers in these various crews. Everyone is close enough that they're trying to stay quiet and calm in this moment. And the ones in the back are kind of like looking up and above, like, oh, let me see, can I see, get out of the way, I want to be, because this is a very special moment. Up until now, there have not been any individuals outside of the highest ranking officers of the Pirates of Port Krez who have been allowed access to the draw. And Cade, while you've had it described to you, you've certainly never seen it in person. But you can see at the back edge of the table is 12 tankards that are aligned. These wooden tankards that are all flipped over on their head to cover something underneath. All right. So Roland, kind of scanning for familiar faces. You do pick up pretty much everyone that you had met is somewhere in this crowd. Just from the time of moving out of the ships and into the building and up into this large central gathering room. Not every single random sailor, but at least everyone associated with a crew. They have made their way here, and you've seen them at least one time or another. But again, the doors, the halls out of this building are flooded with people who are not able to quite fit in. Shay is not here. Well, not in the room. Shay did come with the crew, but did not come. Yeah, but did not come up into the central room.
That's the next thing then that Roland would be clocking is percentage of people left to guard the ships.
It was about 30% for each crew that was left. And typically there was 1 to 2 officers that were left as well. Kind of holding this, making sure that this tension, whatever happened, that all these large guns with all these ships pointed directly at each other, that nothing happened. And so there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of checks. There are a lot of people scanning others. And it seems that despite the kind of camaraderie that was present at Port Krez, all of that has disappeared, and every crew is on edge against every other crew here.
Okay.
It seems like that tension that you all have been feeling has been felt by everyone else. Krita, you've kind of made it up into this room, kind of on the edge by the door for an easier exit. There are 3 entrances, 1 kind of main one and 2 to the side. The one in the main is kind of a double door. The 2 on the sides are single doors. And all of them are jam-packed with individuals waiting, watching, seeing, and kind of scanning along. There's no known enemies that you kind of pick out. You do pick out multiple members of the Kuja who are kind of scattered through the crowd. You also do see Roland and Clyde and notice a couple of the faces of the ones that they had been spending time with that had made it up, into this room.
How can she see Clyde? Is he on my shoulders?
There's just
she can hear Clyde.
Clyde brought a box.
Shall I
Negative
describe it to you?
It's extrapolation.
Clyde is on Sindri's shoulders, and we're wearing a trench coat.
Yes.
And there more.
I don't know if I've quite. Sorry.
You're good. There are multiple smaller races. Even one of the captains is a kobold. And so it's a mix of various races.
There's lots of boxes.
Sorry, Kree, did you have something?
It's sort of out of game. I don't know if I've quite made the connection in game yet, although it's on the edges. But honestly, I'm just glad Roland is here not wearing my face. That would have been a problem.
Ooh.
The night's young.
Oh no.
And
oh man, I should have worn your face going into the
into the
house.
Into the guy's house.
Oh goodness. But yes, as everyone is gathered here, there's these thick, heavy footfalls. And there are another set of double doors on the opposite side. And there have been, there's about 6 of the Kingsguard that are posted there, and 2 of them go to open the doors. And barely able to fit through, kind of giving an arm and leaning under the door, you see this hulking individual. This thick, grayish skin wrapped around aging bones. This elderly ogre figure with this crown of bones that stretches up from his skull and plated armor of various large bones of creatures and of humanoid individuals, a just chain of skulls around his neck. And Cade, you've never seen this individual, but you know them by reputation, Krita as well. This is King Kolberkon, the King of the Maw.
Damn.
I'm glad that you all could come here. Please, let us settle the business of this season.
And this heavy ogre, the only one, begins to sit down as 2 of the Kingsguard kind of push forward this heavy wooden iron seat that they're kind of struggling with, and he kind of just grabs with a hand and kind of shifts it under him before sitting down. All of the other captains stand, and he kind of makes a motion with his hand, and another Kingsguard comes and in front of everyone begins to shift the tankards around, mixing each of the 12 left to right. And at this point, I am going to roll. Where is my D10? There we go.
Real quick, can we get a spelling on the king's name?
Yes, absolutely.
Anybody want to place bets on who's going to get stabbed first?
Ooh. We got to make it more interesting. Who's going to get stabbed by Roland first?
Ooh.
Clyde.
Okay. So for this, I am going just to keep with the draw. I am going to have one of all of you actually make the roll for each captain. So you will roll a d12 when it is your turn. Cade, you'll be drawing for the Stormfae. We'll have Roland draw for the Pride, and then everyone else, and Krita for the Kuja, and everyone else will kind of be assigned as they come. And so the first one up is is the dearth dealers, the crew of the dark elves. And so, fitting, we'll have Jasira make the roll a d12, please.
Sure, let's see. Not bad, not bad.
All right, 3.
For the dearths.
All right, as they move up and grab a tankard, they tip over the edge, and a blackened stone with this golden rune just begins to shine this bright light green. And there's some sighs of relief, some groans, as this female dark elf actually holds it up and begins to show it to the others, indicating that they have been selected for Storm's Row. On a section, as some of you have been filled in on the way, a section that includes Traglorn as well as Tempest Isle.
Yeah, Cade will kind of be leaning down to Clyde and Sindri and kind of just indicate that high risk, high reward area. Could be worse, could be better.
Alright.
All right. Next up, we have the Stormfae. As Captain Aurelia Stormfae, or Azalea Stormfae steps up. And Cade, if you would like to roll me that D12.
Oh no.
On do right by your captain.
Oh god.
Roland, make me a perception or investigation check.
This could be good, this could be bad.
Wait, do what?
Make me a perception or investigation check.
I will give you 3 guesses as to which one I will do.
They give you different things, but...
Yeah, but one can give me a 24 and the other cannot.
Yeah. One will give him something and one will not.
So you are kind of keeping an eye on those that you know. Specifically, you see the Larocque brothers kind of towards the back with their bright red beards. And you see as Captain Stormfae is walking up, they already start smiling. And as she lifts up this blackened stone, again, the golden rune shines a bright white light. And there is a heavy sigh, and she holds it up, and the room is silent for a moment as she has drawn the white wastes.
Oh, fuck.
Is that a good one?
No, not particularly.
Crick.
I have no idea what's going on.
Next is the Cloud Reavers. Clyde, why don't we have you roll a d12 for the Cloud Reavers?
I'll do so. 2. Man, we're getting all the low ones out of the way, guys. They're all gone.
The only one that's going to be left for the pride is 12.
The Cloud Reavers, their captain, again, this tall Goliath woman with this thick fur coat kind of steps forward, just kind of grabs the tankard and tosses it to the side to one of the captains, lifts it up before it's even alighting, and this black stone, it's a much softer whitish glow, this one almost appearing gray, as all of the Cloud Reavers just raise kind of their glasses or their weapons as they have selected the Grey Tide.
Oh, what a coinky dink.
Next is the Golden Corsairs. And Boko, why don't we have you roll for this one?
Any particular reason?
Theschault's not here?
Would you like a reroll?
Yep. Keep rolling until you don't have gotten one that isn't up there.
3.
10's up there.
10. So the Golden Corsairs, as they move forward and begin to lift up the tankard. Underneath this one, the black stone, its rune is, you actually all see this half elf, half tiefling man of darkened skin that Clyde, you had actually met and talked to right before you started the bar fight. This is Mac Calibran, the captain of the Golden Corsairs. His orange dreadlocks kind of pull back. He holds up a stone that glows with a purple, indicating King's Bay.
This is good news, right?
Kings Bay is a highly regarded. There are much cheers from the Corsairs. It's
okay.
It's a very
that was the one that Cade was talking
one.
about earlier in the session, right?
That's the King's Cut.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the King's Cut or the Golden Run is the one that Cade was talking about. But the King's Bay is adjacent to it, and so it is well thought after as well. And then the Driftwood Raider step up, and a portly half orc with kind of missing some of the fingers on one hand and just has a blade strapped to his arm, kind of steps forward to take this one. And let's see, we'll have Sindri hasn't rolled one. Sindri, are you able to roll?
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead and roll me a d12.
All right. Come on. Ooh, highest roll.
All right, as the Driftwood Raiders, their captain Toothless Pete steps forward and gives a smile that reveals all too well what his namesake is from. Raises up a coin that begins to shine a bright orange. This one indicating the crown, a section around Crown Island and Orgalos, just north of the Golden Run. And next up, we have the Crimson Haze. And I'll go ahead and roll this d12.
I'm watching the Larocque brothers for any reaction prior to the draw.
Give me an insight check.
It's like one of those moments where like something happens over here and the entire crowd looks except one face is still staring. But yeah. Damn it.
You look and they kind of turn towards each other and begin talking. And you don't catch any real facial movements of their reaction. And as you kind of catch the light, there is this bright golden glow. As this individual who now actually you for the first time see is indeed Captain Dirthax Barmore. And is certainly one to live up to his reputation. A taller man of just this gray skin, craggly teeth sticking out, leather armor, and what looks to be a tanned hide of flayed skin off of either a dragon or a tiefling, but there are horns coming out of it that he has across the top of his face. And he holds up the rune to indicate the Golden Run.
It's the captain of Barmore's Bastards.
Yep, that is Dirthax Barmore.
A name to add for a verse.
I would recommend not until we're off the island.
Yeah, not right now. Now would be a bad time.
And there is a good hearty cheer from many around at the receiving of this lot. And actually, while we're here real quickly, I'll go ahead and share the other captains. So this one was the Grey Maiden, who was the captain of the Cloud Reavers. Now that you guys have seen her. Oh, if I can move it down for stream. There we go. And then we had Mac Calibran, who was from the Golden Corsairs. And I'll have to edit that one so that it has the right name. Mac. Oh. So he was the half elf, half tiefling with those thick orange dreadlocks. And then what else did we have? The Stormfae, you already know, Captain Azalea. And the Driftwood Raiders, Toothless Pete, you also had met or had seen.
Oh my god, it's Shrek.
Oh my god.
He is a very portly fellow for certain.
Can you also show us the dearth
Is
something?
he portly? Because his fat rolls look like abs. Might
That's
be-
what he rolls.
It's a bit of both.
specifically.
It's a
he
bit of
rolls
both.
his fat.
He got
They're actually like
surgically altered.
They're string wrapped tightly around his waist to like pinch it in at those spots.
Sorry,
And anyone
I mean,
who
he's
says
not
that they're
human.
not abs, he throws overboard.
You look
There
great.
you go.
Thanks. I got my abs done.
yeah, that's
Hey, he's not human. That just might be how his species' abs look. So,
that's Bar Morgan. Oh,
I mean, also his knees look real jank.
again, he seems to be a little bit of a pig race.
Cade is kind of dialed in looking at the Crimson Haze now, because it just seems... It seems really fucking suspicious that we think that they took out the previous King's Cut and now they've drawn it also. So Cade's got, like, eagle eye on that crew.
give me a perception or investigation. Or insight.
Those are both a bit for me. Go insight.
There
Yeah, I'll
we go.
take that 23.
So, Cade, there are hearty cheers from the Crimson Haze when it's drawn, but it's not as resounding as you might expect. Typically, that's the loudest. It echoes through the halls, and maybe it's just that there's a lot of people in here. But it seems like half of the individuals who probably should be cheering are fully giving a hearty bellow. There is certainly some who are ecstatic. But the sound in here, you don't quite see where it's necessarily coming from, but some of them are, or the sound isn't as resounding as you would expect. And Roland, as you're kind of thinking something similar, you look back and to where the Larocque brothers were, and they're already headed down the stairs, kind of weaving through the crowd.
I'm going to give a quick elbow tap to Iz and nod ahead towards them leaving, because if they're leaving, that's going to change the balance of power at the ships.
Yeah, he gives kind of a nod and kind of a motion to one of the other of the crew who's there, and they kind of head off in down the hall after them.
And then I'm going to, after that, look across the crowd to try and make eye contact with Cade for the same reason.
Okay. And Cade, what were you saying?
No, Cade spots that, clocks Roland, and then steps up gently behind Tiago and whispers in his ear, something's wrong with the Crimson Haze and how they drew. People are leaving.
Tiago kind of nods, and Cade, you look around and you don't see Damocles in here. And Tiago doesn't seem too surprised to hear this information. It's certainly like a confirmation, but it seems at least a few on your crew had some preparations for something.
Okay.
And you catch Roland's eye and kind of connect that you both have clocked what has happened. And the next lot up was for the Kuja. So, Krita, if you want to roll me a D12 as Captain Samira Anar steps forward.
On it.
Lucky number 7.
All right.
Hot damn.
With a 7, she comes up and pulls her rune, and it shines a bright navy blue, to which a couple of the females there kind of give a hearty raise of their glass and like begin to down it, as they have drawn the Kragsguard, which stay on the island of Crag as the protective force and just get and inherit a portion of the bounty of all of the crews and just get to sit and drink and enjoy themselves. And so some it's less honorable, some it is seen as a healthy break or vacation.
But hey, it also lets you cross names off your list a lot more luxuriously.
And let's see. Next up, we have the Kerrigan crew. Clyde, why don't we have you roll for the Kerrigan crew?
Alrighty. Click. What we got?
All right. So with a 9, the Kerrigan crew are not very excited about this, and there's actually a good bit of laughing that begins to happen. Captain Kerrigan is a purple kobold in this captain's cloak, and immediately he kind of spins around and looks, and the laughter is silenced. But this is they've drawn the Green Isles, known for its fair maidens, who are worshippers of a fertility cult, but they're all human females.
So everyone else is going, oh.
Yeah. Indeed. All right. And then I believe we just have the Pride and the Vergosny.
I've never met Captain Kerrigan, but I would die for them.
Absolutely.
All right, and so with the Vargasni, these half-orcs, one of the half-orcs, kind of a more jaunty fellow with some dreadlocks and a bright red bandana, kind of steps forward as he gives a big smile and flips over. And Boko, we'll have you roll for this one.
I rolled for the golden?
Yeah, we're going to have some duplicates.
Rolled twice.
Oh, wait, is this for the Dreadhold?
No, this is for the Vargasni. We'll have Roland cap for the Dreadhold. Or for the Pride of Dreadhold.
Let's see here. What numbers are left? Not
that one. Hey, I think that's left.
4.
4 has not been drawn yet, yeah.
Okay.
So the Vargasni, as they draw 4, they get their shines kind of a copper rustic color as they have drawn the Dead Drain. A pretty low-bearing area known to be filled with kind of empty islands and the prison of Dreadhold, fair enough. And so there is some grumbling, but the orc captain kind of waves it off, and he's like, we can pull from another that's remaining, and gives this big smile. And then the last one is the lioness herself, who steps up. And Roland, if you'd like to roll for the pride for theirs.
So 5, 6, and 8 are left.
Yep.
Hey,
there's one of them.
And with that, as the lioness goes to pull hers, then holds up the stone, it shows a bright red, indicating the Bloody Bay, one of the more dangerous spots to raid, and also containing Mutiny Harbor, where pirates got so fed up of raiding in the area that they mass mutinied. And as the draw begins to come to a close, all the captains kind of standing back, the last 3 are tipped over, and they begin to shine a bright light blue, a yellow, and a purple, indicating the remaining lots. And already crews and captains begin to discuss, and there is a heavy fist that pounds on the table.
Before any additional discussion is had on the lots, is there any business to bring before the King of the Maw?
At this point, it is Captain Stormfay who actually steps forward. I know we are all thinking about it, but it is important. We must discuss that of the sea dragons, the threat, the true threat that it poses to all of us. All of us here have heard or seen. The rumors abound. The phantom beasts are not among us. These large pirate killers are out there, and they have already sunk in one of ours, and escaped without any of us have seen any portion.
Those from the north. The northern runs. Captain Barmore. Captain Moranin. You came through that territory. Did you see any signs of shipwrecks?
At this, Barmore kind of raises a bit and rolls his shoulders. I saw nothing of the sort. No shipwrecks. No fights. At least not until we had a nice little prize on our way back. And he kind of gives a tip of his finger over to the lioness, who ignores what that is, though there seem to be some reactions from some of the crew of the Pride behind her, and they're kind of held back. This we cannot confirm either. We were otherwise preoccupied.
See, the situation here. It is minimal. The crews around were not even concerned with the situation to fully patrol their territory, and you're saying that we should all take heed of this rumor with no proof.
The captains all begin to have some discussion at this point, and even the sailors begin to rise up in their voices. Are any of you saying anything? Are you providing any comments? Are you making any moves to speak up?
Clyde starts whistling the tune to Barrymore's Bastard. Not the words, just the tune.
Just the tune?
Just the tune. Just...
How
Roland
subtly...
immediately looks to clap a hand over Clyde's mouth and realizes he's across the table. I cast silence.
Oh yeah, cast a spell in this room that is like, you could cut the tension with a fucking saber.
Or a whistle.
There is a few of the Crimson Haze that begin to already start to pop up in reaction to kind of hearing this and moving around, when suddenly this voice just rings out from the room, kind of stepping forward, and you hear this metallic clank as this hood is pulled backwards.
The polluting stench of this inglorious charlatan, Colbercon, can be smelled even within the deepest depths of the Dreadhold. You shall not be allowed to lead these people through your winding chasms of deceit any longer. By code, tradition, and the general natural law of honor, this chicanery cannot be overlooked. The people suffer dilapidation and destruction at the hands of his inept and mendacious commands. The hand of Tiber shall cut this infection from the face of the earth, and return the sea dragons to the bowels of the ocean. The pirate kingdoms can no longer afford to flounder under the whims of a dishonest and decrepit tyrant. By my hand and blades, your reign shall come to an unceremonious and abrupt conclusion. My name is Lord Tiberius Reginald Zorg V, and I challenge this duplicitous despot to a trial of coronation by combat.
And with that, we will go ahead and close for tonight. Thank you all for joining us, and we will pick up at the end of a bit of hiatus, and so you have a wonderful cliffhanger to take us on to next time. So tune in. We'll let you know when the next stream is coming at you, and we'll see you then.